Okay. All right. Looks like we are live. Hopefully, everything is looking good. I think that game is a little hot. Little hot, little hot, little hot, little hot, little hot, 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 hot. Oh, Lord, we're going to try something. I'm getting a little pop in the background, but what are we going to do? We're going to see how this works. It's been a while since we set up this studio. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, baby. Yes. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Oh, Chris Jensen, I know you love me. Chris Jensen loves me. I know you love me, baby doll. I know you love me, baby doll. Don't you worry, baby doll. I got you, baby doll. Honey pie. Honey pie, little bee. I got you, baby. It's all about you. And I love you so much. You are such a cute little baby doll. Yes, sirree. Aren't you just the sweetest? Aren't you just the sweetest, honey pie? You know you love me. Mm-hmm. I know, honey pie. I know, honey pie. I know you love me. It's so good to see you all here today. Let's see what we got here. Oh, is it this one? Yeah, all right, here we go. It's that time again. It's that time again, everybody. Welcome to the show. Oh, it's a little jumpy, but what the hell? It's still, you know, it's been a while since we've done the Morning Sky show, and I still don't have my green screen up. And I have no sound treatment, but I hope you like it. I hope the sound's okay. How's the sound, everybody? Bloom. How's the sound, Kathy? You should live in Russia for a real left-wing view. Oh no, Morty. Oh no, Rick. Like Rick. Rick. Oh, Rick. So you need to know. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Hey, how the heck are you, everybody? Welcome. Scratchy sound. All right. How's that, honey pie? How's that? Is it scratchy? What do you mean scratchy? Is it too hot? Too hot? Is it too hot, honey? Is it too hot, honey? All right, so it's so funny that somebody would say something like this. This is one of my favorite things. People say, like, go to Russia if you're a left-wing kook. You know, Russia's like ultra-conservative, right? Like, Vladimir Putin is considered an ultra-right-wing conservative authoritarian. He's not a left-wing kook. He's a KGB leader who snaked his way into power, and he's all about the powerful institutions of government. He's not about left-wing populism or anything like that, you crazy kook. Chris Jensen doesn't know anything. That's the sad part. Like, I know you love me, and I love you too. But I wish that I could have, like, some intelligent people come in here and be all like, well, actually, I have a point about conservative thinking. But no, I never get that. I never get people who are conservative. The most conservative guy I know with a brain is Chip because he still loves capitalism. Yeah, he's a fascist killer. Exactly. Nurse Rod, exactly. He's a right-wing nut job, is what Vladimir Putin is. Now, I can't know what the sound is like because I can't really hear myself, so I hope everything is fine. So I'm going with the flow here. It is the first time in a while that we're doing this show, so I hope that you like it. It's the Morning Sky Show, everybody. It's the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. My name is Skyjack Morgan. This is the Morning Sky Show, the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. Thank you. Exactly. I'm reading a book by Zadie Smith right now, and Zadie Smith will say things like, well, she writes very Dickensian style, where she'll actually write in the dialects of the characters, and a lot of them will be like, exactly. And it's so funny because one of my best friends in Germany was a guy from Leicester, England, and he always would say, exactly, and always crack me up, man. Exactly. And it's all for all of their King's English. They sure drop the T a lot. They sure just drop that T. They just hate the letter T, I think. They drank all the tea. The English drank all the tea, and then out of their accent, they just dropped the T. That's why my friend Jackie Boyle, the beautiful, wonderful, crazy jackdaw, she says things like, she says like, I don't want to be a martyr. I don't want to be a martyr. I don't want to be a martyr. There's no T's. They drink tea, but they hate saying the letter T. That's the whole thing. And Americans are not much better because they say things like, "Hey, what you doing over there?" So they say things like, they just put a D in for the T. I mean, they're trying to say, a lot of American accents, they try to say the letter T, but they just end up saying D. But the English just drop the T completely. They hate the letter T. I know you're not English. That's why I did the Scottish accent. I was quoting the Sir William Wallace as portrayed by the Australian Mel Gibson. I don't want to be a martyr, nor but I want my freedom. I feel like Dick Van Dyke gets such a bad rap for faking an English accent, but I really believe that Dick Van Dyke should be given a pass at this point and just focus on Mel Gibson doing the Scottish accent. A Scottish accent. He doesn't say accent. A Scottish accent. I don't want to be a martyr. A martyr. I love you. I always have. I want to marry you. That type of stuff. He's an Aussie. I know. Smoking Blondie's here. Thank you so much for being here. I am actually seated. I know, I've developed this show as stand and deliver the news, but I cannot do that right now because I'm still in a melodramatic situation. It's melodramatic. My foot is a melodramatic drama queen. If I even stub my toe, my whole foot swells to the size of a watermelon. And that's no good for anybody. I love this Irish and Scottish. I love them too, Kathy Skywalker. I say these things out of love. I'm not like, I don't think that, it's not that I don't like these accents. I love them. Every time I've had the privilege of speaking with Jackie, she has such a sweet little Scottish accent. Or you know what I love? I love Doctor Who. And there's a Scottish girl, who's the Scottish girl? And is it Gillian's? Who's the Scottish sidekick companion on Doctor Who? What's her name? Jamie McCrimmon. Amy Pond is who I'm thinking about. Amy Pond, yeah, played by Karen Gillan, who is like smoke show. She's just a little girl in Doctor Who. I think she's so young in Doctor Who. I don't even know how old she is. But Amy Pond, man, such a cool. Do we have some Doctor Who fans out there? Does anyone like the Doctor Who? I mean, Amy Pond in Doctor Who. You never watched Doctor Who? Even the new ones? Kathy Skywalker, it's right up your alley. It's right up your alley. I can't believe you haven't seen it. These days, it's a little hard to watch, or hard to find, I should say, to watch. But man, if you can find new Who, or even classic Who, is awesome. It's so good, Kathy Skywalker. I highly recommend watching a little Doctor Who. If you like English and Scottish and the accents from the British Isles and the colonies, I think that you'll love Doctor Who. It's a fantastic romp through time and space on the TARDIS. Yes, of course. Do you love Amy Pond? Isn't Amy Pond awesome? I liked her more than the Forever girl. Amy Pond in her little policeman's outfit. Oh man, Amy Pond in a policeman's outfit. It's almost as hot as January Jones smoking cigarettes. Amy Pond in a policeman's outfit is as hot as January Jones smoking cigarettes. I don't know. I normally don't think that women smoking is a turn on, but January Jones makes smoking cool again. January Jones turned everybody back onto cigarettes. People keep on saying like all these movie stars are smoking and blah blah blah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, have you seen Mad Men? Have you seen The Three Burials of Melquiades Estrada? I highly recommend both. They're both wonderful. Hey everybody, welcome to the Morning Sky Show. This is Skyjack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. This is the Morning Sky Show, the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. What's going on?
Let's begin here. An immigrant once celebrated as
an immigrant that used to be celebrated, but now, ooh, he's a dirty immigrant now.
a quote outstanding refugee is now accused in a multi-million-dollar Medicaid scheme that prosecutors say involved sex trafficking. Funny how that happens.
What? Funny how that happens? Funny how crime happens. It must be because he's an outstanding refugee. I don't know if you know this, but Puff Daddy has gotten multiple keys to the city. What do you mean? Funny how that happens. An American who once got the key to the city turns out he was a sex criminal. Funny how that happens. A man who was a New York con artist and was given all sorts of accolades and billions of dollars in bailout money and multiple bankruptcy now became president of the United States. Turns out he's a child sex criminal. Funny how that happens. What? You should say that about how that happens. Funny how that happens.
And that's just one of two blue state fraud cases raising eyebrows today from Minnesota all the way to Massachusetts, where there's allegations of fraud that are putting millions of taxpayer dollars and the people entrusted with them under the microscope.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany here with my co-host, Harris Faulkner and Emily
Yeah, here we go.
Also joining us, Ainsley
Let's
Earhart,
do it.
Fox and Friends co-host, and Todd Pyro, Fox and Friends first co-host. Well, he was once.
Let's bring women's lib back to the 40s with Outnumbered. The show Outnumbered, I think, is single-handedly bringing women's issues to the Stone Ages. Single-handedly, they are able to destroy women's lib. Crazy Jackdaw, thank you so much. Woo, 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 woo. Where's my? Thank you so much, Crazy Jackdaw. You're incredible. You're a wonderful woman. You're a credit to the whole Scottish countryside. Oh my God, the Scots. I love the Scots. They're wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Can I get some jubilation for Crazy Jackdaw in the house? Thank you so much. Blonde Bimbo Brigade says Nurse Rod, but they're not just all blonde bimbos. They're really just showing how all women are horribly stupid, apparently. I'm not saying that. Fox News is saying that. It's as if, the Whatever podcast and the Outnumbered show on Fox News, they're like the 1 and 2 punch for bringing women's rights issues into the toilet. It really is horrible. She was hot in X-Men too. Oh yeah, she played the Diamond Girl. What was the Diamond Girl's name in X-Men? The woman who's all X-Men. Emma Frost. She played Emma Frost. Why do I know stupid shit like that? Comic books. Have you ever seen the movie? I think it's called Writers and Artists or something with Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin, and they're defending comic books. And Jerry Lewis gets on the stand and he's like, I read a lot of comic books when I was a kid, and that's why I'm a little retarded. It's a nice say stuff like that. I'm quoting somebody. It's okay when you sing the song and the R word is in it, right? If you're singing the song, as a white person, is it okay if you're quoting a movie or singing a song and there's the R word in the song? Is it okay to say the R word? Discuss. Yes. Emma Frost, nurse got it. Nurse got it.
Heralded by Minnesota as an outstanding refugee success story. Now, one Somali immigrant is facing 8 counts tied to an alleged $4.5 million Medicaid fraud scheme. Prosecutors say Salman Ahmed Elmi and 3 associates operated 4 sham healthcare businesses that billed Medicaid for services that never happened, while also running a sex trafficking ring. The group allegedly falsified Medicaid bills, paid illegal kickbacks for information to submit false claims, lied about having proper supervision when none was provided, and most heinously were involved in a commercial pay-for-sex enterprise where they would take vulnerable women, rent apartments in their...
This sounds a lot like the Epstein. It sounds like Trump's crimes. Why is she so upset? I thought we were okay with this in America now. I thought everyone was okay. America hates women. I don't know if you realize this. America hates women. Like, there's no way around it, man. America, I don't know why you guys hate women, but like as a systemic, it's really bad, dude. Women are the underclass of the United States of America. Well, I mean, native people are, but there's not many of them left to talk about. You know, we've killed 99%. We've killed about 90% of those people. We've killed about 90% of the people who used to live here. And we're still, you know, undertaking the genocide. But women are second-class citizens, like behind... like as a biggest group of the underclass of the oppressed women. And you know, it's always funny whenever I see women like acting in solidarity, I feel really proud of them. When I see women stick up for other women, even if they're wrong, I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Stick up for other women. God damn it. Even if they're wrong, stick up for them. Be like, yeah, well, at least she's a woman out there doing something. Jillian Michaels? Yeah, I mean, Jillian Michaels. She's a traitor. But what about Natalie Harp? Natalie Harp? You want us to stand in solidarity with Natalie Harp? I don't know. It's hard.
Name. And then the crew would steal the identities of the men paying for those women's services and bill Medicaid in their names. That's according to court records.
Thanks, everybody watching on Facebook. I don't say hi to Facebook enough. I think of this as a YouTube show. Thanks, everybody on Facebook. I appreciate you for being here. You are amazing. You're incredible. I love you.
Now, Elmi was released after surrendering his passport and agreeing to remain in Minnesota. Well, let's head over to Massachusetts, Lawrence, where there is Mayor Brian DePena, who is accused of misusing more than $1.5 million in COVID relief loans. But it's what happened outside court that has sent this case viral.
Hi, guys. Too many comments in the city? Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. How are you, no comments. Excuse me. Just thank you. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. We're not. God bless you. Sure. Do you think it? Are you innocent, sir? No comment. Thank you. No, God bless you.
So you heard that right, Mayor DePena.
That's what I would do too if I were like, you know, you just say the same thing. When I was in industry and people would act all fucking crazy, I'd be like, have a good night. Oh, I'm going to fucking have your job. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill all your family. Have a good night. Oh my God, I'm going to tear down this whole hotel. I'm going to have everybody's job. I'm going to be the captain of this whole hotel. Have a good night. I'm going to come back and murder all of your bartenders. Have a good night. Drive safe. Have a good night. Because there's nothing you could say to a person in the press. No comment, no comment, no comment, or God bless, or God bless, or God bless. I mean, there's nothing you can do, right? There's nothing that can happen.
Yeah. The mayor of an American city claiming he cannot speak English. He kept saying, God bless you to the reporters. And if you thought the mayor's exit couldn't get any bumpier, it did, as his attorney appeared to crash into a parked car while fleeing reporters.
You call them reporters. This is paparazzi level style. Uh-oh.
Ainsley, these seem like, I don't know, soap opera episodes, but they are real tales of
Really?
Americans. Well, you know,
You haven't seen any soap. This is not like a soap opera episode.
You're right, and these are people that came to our country, and now they're stealing from the taxpayers. Both.
Are you talking about Donald Trump again? These people came to our country, they're stealing from the taxpayers, and they're starting sex crime rings. I think that they're talking about Donald Trump. I don't know why This is always the same. Can I get a is Trump innocent or guilty, everybody? Can you let me know what you think? Is Trump a sex criminal? I think he might be. I think he might be a sex criminal. Guys, I think the president might be a sex criminal. It sucks, but I think it's true. Oh, it says 100% he loves me. Thank you, everybody. I'm so glad that you thought so. Yeah. I mean, is Donnie Boy, is he the one? Let me see here. Let me see. I need to put another poll. Let's put another poll in there here. Let's put another poll in the chat. Let's do another one. I think that's important to engage with the audience. Let's start another poll. Who has more sex crime rings? Immigrants? Impoverished immigrants or billionaires? Who has more sex crime rings? That's the question of the day. I think that's a good one. Why is your mic so crackly? Why isn't anyone telling me that the mic is crackly? What do you mean crackly? What do you mean crackly? You got to describe the crackly. Is it crackly now? Is it crackly now? Why do you say you guys don't tell me it's crackly? I'm like, hey, is it okay? And you're all like, yeah, it's fine. I don't know. Testing, testing, testing. What do you mean? Is it crackling? Is it crackling now? I don't hear buzz screaming on the CPU, just on phone. What? I don't know. It sounds like a connection. Very static every time I speak. All right, all right, all right. Test, 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 test. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, 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 testing. Testing, 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 test, test, test. Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by the sun of York, and all the clouds that lower upon our house are definitely in the input. Test, 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 test. Now it's not going in at all. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. One, two, three.
get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan.
Test, test, test.
One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan. One, two, three. One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan.
Situation.
One, two, three. Get on up and get down with Skyjack Morgan.
You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. I'm a loner, Daddy.
Test, 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 test. I hope that this is better. With any luck, we are back in action. What do you hear? What do you say? What do you think? Hopefully this is now it. Hopefully that worked. Did that work? I hope it worked. I don't know. I can't tell if it worked. I hope it did. It sounds good on my side. I hope it sounds good on your side. I hope it does. Let me know. Hopefully it sounds a little bit better. I don't know. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Sorry, Sky, it's great. How many minutes ago? That was 1 minute ago. Okay, good. All right, good. I had to go through like 5 cables in order for that to work. Thank you so much. I'm sorry about all that, but this is the first time we've set up this studio in a while, and I've got all these different cables flying around the house and everything. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Once again, my name is Skyjack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate, and my name is Skyjack Morgan, and this is the #1 news reaction show on YouTube, Morning Sky Show.
And they were heralded as
We're talking about, what are we talking about? Oh, yeah, sex crimes.
heroes. They were receiving awards. The first guy in Minnesota, not the guy you just saw there, we'll get back to him, he was honored by the State's Department of Health and Human Services for Outstanding Refugee Award for Entrepreneurship. But entrepreneurship, his businesses are illegal. His businesses are phony, running 4 phony...
Wait a second. Are we still talking about Donald Trump phony businesses? What, like meme coins and NFT cryptocurrency scams?
agencies in Minnesota, one called Riva Health, Riva Autism, Helpful Housing, and Home Felt Assisted Living, and then scamming the government out of $4.5 million, not to mention running this pay-for-sex scheme, according to court records. Then the guy in Massachusetts, not only does he not speak English, he's been in politics, representing Lawrence, Massachusetts for 10 years, but he doesn't speak English. How is he supposed to write bills or write documents or change laws? And you don't...
You know what? You wouldn't want to get up if you got down with Sky. If you saw the epic fury, you know. I'd wheelchair you. That's the thing. I would wheelchair you. That's the problem. I've put a lot of girls in wheelchairs. It's a problem.
Don't you think that needs to be a pre-rec that you have?
People are like you put women in wheelchairs? Yeah, but not in a bad way. Well, I mean it's a bad way, but they don't ever complain. They're just like they take it. They just take the wheelchair. Like, looks like I'm going to be in a wheelchair for a few weeks.
To serve your elected officials and speak the language of the country that you live in. We need to assimilate. If you come to our country, assimilate and be a part of it. You're welcome to come here legally. You're welcome to learn our language, and then you can be a part of the family.
You're welcome to come here as long as you do everything that we say. That's the American way. You do what we say. That's the West for you. The West is white culture telling other people what to do. That's what the West is. When people say the West, they really mean where white culture has really taken root, where colonialism has flourished. Places like Australia, Canada, and the USA. You know you love the USA. New Zealand. You know, who else do you call the West? You call it basically white Europe, and everywhere white Europe has infected. So that's what you get. That's what the West is. Come to the West and do what we say. That's the American way. Wink.
But you can't come into our country and then scam taxpayers out of millions of dollars and you pay your bills with it. The Massachusetts guy, he got...
Sayard Yan, how are you? You can't scam the American people out of millions of dollars unless your name is Donald J. Trump, unless your name is Elon Musk. You can't come to our country and just scam the American people out of billions of dollars of their tax money and then just line your pockets with it. What are you thinking? You can't do that. You can't funnel off $1 trillion out of the American taxes for yourself. You can't do that. Unless you learn our language and you're white, then it's okay.
$1 million in COVID fraud money. He's charged with wire fraud and money laundering, meant for his employees at his tire business, but accused of paying off his debt.
Fucking embarrassing. You're on Fox News. They got their phone. Turn off your phone. I thought you were a professional. How unprofessional. How unprofessional. Holy shit. Do we need to put your phone in a little bag, honey? Do we need to put your phone in a little bag and zip it up like they do in high school? Do we need to put your phone in a little bag? How fucking unprofessional over at Fox News.
And for using that money for his mayoral campaign, though. Wrong.
It's crazy. And this guy,
It's crazy. Do you remember when Donald Trump used his campaign money to pay off a prostitute? I love this whole thing. It's crazy. It's crazy. There's some mayor in some random town in Minnesota who got caught up in some bullshit. He's probably going to jail. Don't worry. If he's guilty, he'll go to jail. But it's crazy that this is happening. And he's an immigrant. It's crazy. These fucking immigrants.
First one that was mentioned, the Minneapolis guy, was a heinous scheme. Todd, he got Outstanding Refugee of the Year. It appears Minnesota does not vet their outstanding refugees.
Look, the timing of this is a little bit unclear. The award was, I believe, in earlier.
Outstanding refugee.
Than the fraud.
Okay.
There's potentially it began in 2019. His nexus to it is a little bit unclear. But overall, the overall point is this. You have communities, be it
Mansplain this to me, would you, sir?
Minnesota, be it Massachusetts, blue communities that create an environment where illegality and people doing the wrong thing is rewarded, all in an effort to virtue signal. So let's take Minnesota, for example.
I really feel sorry for all the women on Fox. I hate these women on Outnumbered, but I really think they should change the name to Four Dumb Bitches and a Dude. That's what they should call it. Four Dumb Bitches and a Dude. Or how about Four Dumb Bitches and a Mansplainer? Four ethnically diverse, dumb cunts and a mansplainer. I think that's what they should call it. It's bringing back it. You know, when America had this show called The Dukes of Hazzard, it made the South look like a bunch of bumbling morons, and it brought the South back 50 years. Let's face it. That show like formed my opinion of the South. I'm sorry, it's true. The show, as a child I loved Dukes of Hazzard, but as a child watching Dukes of Hazzard, I was like, oh, this is what the South is like, and Southern people are stupid. Any young girl watching this fucking show, Outnumbered, on Fox News must be so embarrassed, must be so disheartened. It must be really difficult as a woman in America, a little girl as America, and I should say, a little girl in America turning on the news and seeing Outnumbered, whose name should be changed to Four Dumb Bitches and a Mansplainer. Then the dude's just as dumb as they are. The dude's just as dumb as they are, but he needs to mansplain everything to them so they can try to form opinions or something. Yeah, foxes are redheads. Indeed. Yes, great name change. Four bitches and a dude. No, it's got to be four dumb bitches because they're all dumbasses. Like, well, Harris Faulkner, I think, is just an evil alien person, but the other ones are like really fucking stupid.
There was no way they weren't going to give an award to a refugee, to a guy, even if they did or did not check his background. Why? Because that's the Somali community that they need the votes from, right? And it's good. We want to be the people that turn a blind eye to whatever refugees and illegals do. Because
we need the votes for them, so we'll do everything and turn a blind eye. They always say this weird shit.
That's what a woke town does, or a woke state does. Go over to Massachusetts. Here you have a guy, we don't know officially.
It's so funny. They'll say, like, they'll do anything to get the vote for those Somali people. They'll even give them awards and shit. Well, I mean, I guess it's better than giving pardons to I think it's better than giving pardons to, you know, people who assaulted police officers on January 6th. I think giving a Somali refugee of the year or whatever the fuck, in order to curry favor with the Somali refugee voting bloc. I don't even know if that's really a thing. I think that's better than currying favor with the white power movement by pardoning the Proud Boys, hiring them as ICE agents, and then you know, on the international stage talking about how great the Proud Boys are. I think I'll take the occasional kerfuffle with the Somalis over the white power movement. What do you say? What do you say, everybody? Are you with the refugees or the KKK? That's a new poll. Let's do a new poll. Are you with the refugees or the KKK? That's all you get. Looks like only 73% of you thought that billionaires have more sex trafficking rings, sex crime rings than impoverished immigrants. Wow, incredible. That's incredible to me. All right, let's do another poll. It's going to be what was it? Who were you with? Who are you with? The KKK or the refugee? KKK or refugees? I want to know which one like, if you got to pick one, you know, if you got to pick one, who do you stand with? Who are you standing with? The KKK or the refugees? I think that's a fair enough thing. Yeah, vegan. Johnny Vegan seems like, what? Yeah, I mean, what?
The guy doesn't speak English, but in that clip, he didn't speak English, okay? That said,
he didn't speak English to the press, you dumb assholes. Donald Trump pleads the fifth all the time. Does that mean he doesn't speak English? Donald Trump doesn't speak English, everybody, because we saw him say, I know people say he speaks English, but, you know, he said he pled the fifth. He pleaded the fifth? He pled the fifth multiple times, which means he doesn't speak English. That makes sense, right?
I don't think that's a flaw to the voters in that community in Massachusetts. That's probably a net positive to them because of this wokeness that pervades these states. Imagine trying.
That's not wokeness. Wokeness is the awareness of systemic oppression. That's what woke means. It's not wokeness that a community in a city. So if there's a city with like a lot of Somalis, let's call it, or just like, how about there's a city in America where most people speak Spanish, like 90%, and they hire a mayor who speaks Spanish, and his English ain't so good. That makes sense, right? They want a person like them representing them. They don't give a shit he doesn't speak English so great. What the fuck do they care? They don't care. They want a person that represents them in their community. If you're a mayor in America, you don't need to speak the language of the hegemony. You need to speak the language of the people. And the language of the people in that community, in this case, is Spanish. If it's the case of Somalis, then speak whatever fucking language they speak in Somalia. I think it's probably just Somalia. I think they speak Somali. I don't know. What's the national language of Somalia? I guess, like, what are the national languages of Somalia? I'm guessing it's like Arabic and, oh yeah, Somali and Arabic. Somali and Arabic. They hate that shit, right? They hate the fact that they speak Somali and Arabic. Well, they don't speak English. Yeah, but he speaks Somali and Arabic. Well, he should have to speak English. Why? His people in his community elected him. You don't need it. Oh yeah, I can't do polls for multiple. I can do a poll here. How about this? We'll do a poll right here, because we could do a poll for everybody on all platforms. It's a little bit. I'll do it just for you, Honey Pie. Honey Pie. How about this? Should you have to speak English to get a job to be elected as mayor? To be elected as a mayor. I think this is such a ridiculous question, but we're just going to do yes or no. Option 1, you just got to put yes or no in the chat. Here you go. We're going to start and show this one right now. Here you go. It's right here. Should you have to speak the English to be elected as a mayor? If the people don't care, the people of that community, if you are in a community where it's all Somalis, why the hell do they care if you speak English? They don't speak English. They don't give a shit if you speak English. They want someone to represent them. If you are in, I don't know, is there a town in America? Is there a town in America that has over 50% Spanish speaking? Yeah, several towns. Hialeah, Florida. 92% of residents in Hialeah, Florida. I'm probably saying it wrong. Hialeah, Florida? I think it's Hialeah. 92% of residents speak Spanish. Hialeah, Florida. In Hialeah, Florida, 92% of the people speak Spanish. Why should they care if their guy speaks English? They don't give a shit. Why should they care at all? It doesn't matter.
In a red state, that guy wouldn't even make the ballot. And in a red state, I don't think you have a ton of awards, especially entrepreneur awards for people who
In a red state, he wouldn't be on the ballot. Yeah, well, in a red state, they're a bunch of racist white piece of shit.
Fraud within a fraud. I guess that is...
In a red state, he wouldn't be on the ballot. Yeah, we know. We know that about red states. In red states, they're a bunch of racist assholes. So, in a red state, he wouldn't even be on the ballot. Actually, Florida's a red state. And in Hialeah, Florida, it's 92% Spanish speakers. Who's the mayor of Hialeah, Florida? Brian Calvo. He's the youngest mayor in Hialeah's history. He's 27. 27. Here you go, Brian Calvo. Do I care if Brian Calvo speaks English when he represents a town that is 92% Spanish speaking? No, not at all. I do not care.
pretty entrepreneurial of the guy to do a fraud within a fraud. I knew I'd get Emily's laugh on that one. But the overall point is these states are different, and they're the foundation for all the nonsense and the fraud that we're seeing that J.D. Vance and the administration are really trying to root out.
But so maybe they vet their outstanding refugee. Who knows? They don't vet some of the people getting these services, Harris. And you have Tim Walz, who was at the top, and then his number two, the Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, who's asking to be the next governor.
Well, and he has an AG. Keith Ellison didn't vet them either. That's really in his lane, his wheelhouse.
This is the evil Martian right here. Poor Harris Faulkner, man. I don't know how she got all tied up in this. This is the only one I think has a brain on this whole dais here. I think Harris Faulkner is the only one with a brain, and she's beautiful and she's smart and she's stuck on Fox News saying this vile, evil shit. I think that her soul has been corrupted. Her soul has been corrupted by the Murdoch family.
If you will, but I agree with you. It is the place where this is happening. The bastions, if you say woke and I say Democrat socialism incubators. Because if we wanted to know where some of this came from, just look at some of the areas now that have this sort of thing going on. I mean, who's watching the store for voters?
Democratic socialist incubators. Well, that's a great point of view. America, it's all democratic socialist incubators. You know that, right? Hold on a second. Let me get rid of this for a second. Let me hide this for a second. Look, all of America is a democratic socialist incubator because of this thing called capitalism. You might have heard of it. Now, in capitalism, you have people who are unable to actually participate in capitalism. They become the under-proletariat or the sub-proletariat. They end up not even able to get jobs. Now, think of like the African-American community or women or all sorts of impoverished or marginalized groups. They simply are left out of it. They can't own the means of production, and they can't actually even get jobs as wage slaves. So what do? A lot of them turn to crime. It doesn't have to be just black or Indian or white or women. Anybody who's kind of falls through the cracks in America becomes part of this radical criminal class, constantly trying to exist within capitalism. They still need to participate in order to procure liquid capital. They still need money, but capitalism isn't helping them out at all. They've fallen through the cracks, and the systemic oppression has kept them from participating in legitimate ways, so they become the radical fringe movement. It's just where it happens. It doesn't mean that I'm not saying that they're a criminal class, but if you think about the people who have really challenged the capitalist way in America, it's usually coming from those classes. It's coming from women, blacks, Hispanic, Latino communities. It's usually coming from that place because they have been left out. They've been systemically left out. They've been held out. They've been gatekept out. They've been gate-kept out of the capitalist system. So we end up having an incubation right under the proletariat. It's almost like the proletariat is the chicken sitting on top of this whole underclass. And that underclass is incubating constantly and they become social democrats, they become communists, they become anarchists, they become anyone who challenges. They're the only ones who challenge the status quo because the status quo has fucked them. Capitalism has to have that. It does that as part of the because it must have a class that has nothing in order for billionaires and oligarchs to have a lot. It has to have a class that has nothing. So it's almost baked into the pie, you see, baked into the cake. It's baked in.
Who's vetting the bad guys, but also they're victims in these cases.
Yes.
Because if you didn't get what you needed because these guys absconded with the cash, then that's a crime, and there's a real victim in that scenario. So who's watching all of this outside of the media at Fox? Like, I want to know, is this a series of people who have fallen down on their responsibilities, including the Attorney General's office?
Wait till you hear about Epstein. If you think if you're blown away by this refugee getting caught up in some bullshit, wait till you get a load of the Epstein stuff. I think you should know English as our governments work in English, and you will be handicapped without it, just like knowing Spanish in Mexico. Well, I mean, you need to have a working knowledge, but there's lots of mayors right now, like they could speak English. But when you try to like drill them and like have like hammer them on English, like in a debate scenario or something, their English isn't good enough to have like those types of conversations. You see what I'm saying? So they can, and they bring interpreters with them, Johnny. Like you might be at a handicap without like being fluent, but if you're a mayor, you've got an interpreter with you. You've got a person with you in the big meetings and stuff. They bring someone with them so they can speak English. And they speak enough English to understand, but they don't trust themselves to speak it. You know, a lot of people in Latino communities, especially at that level, they can understand, 95% of what everybody else is saying, but when they try to generate English, it's difficult. Just like my Spanish is really good. I understand. I can watch a Spanish movie without a problem. But when I'm asked a question like on the spot and I'm like, it takes a while for my little squirrel in my brain to start running in that wheel. And then I got to be like, pues, ojalá que, you're like, and then you can start speaking English. But so in like an adversarial situation, my Spanish isn't as good. I can order food at a restaurant and I can exist in Mexico actually pretty well speaking Spanish. But if like, I don't know, if a cop started coming at me in Spanish, and I'd have to be like, because you're put on the spot, you know what I mean? Yeah. Same as me when I speak English. Of course, exactly. Sayard Yan is a great example. You probably understand like 99% of everything I'm saying right now because your English understanding is really high. But your English, when you generate English, it's a little slower, right? It's normal. It's quite normal. It's very, very normal. Yes. Don't worry. I'm sure their next episode will be about Rick Scott committing fraud by stealing money from the taxpayers. Of course. Yeah. It's Rick Scott. It's going to be about the Epstein files, I'm sure. It looks like the no's have it. 100% of you said that no. Wow. Incredible. I'm impressed, guys. 100% of you said no. Great job. Okay, well, that's a wonderful thing. I'm glad that we did that. It's been.
They said you can't come home again, but here I am. And if you thought the president hated Jimmy Kimmel Live when it was hosted by Jimmy Kimmel, buckle up, people, buckle up.
Oh my God, it's Rosie O'Donnell. I loved her jacket. Did anyone catch this? She's got that pink jacket with the embroideries and stuff. It's kind of Southwestern.
Rosie O'Donnell making a rare return to television, where she exercised her First Amendment rights that we have in this country. She is a longtime Trump foe. The president has threatened and attacked her in all sorts of ways, and yet here she is. It is obviously quite symbolic, but also literally powerful when it comes to the role of the free press and free.
You guys are asking about the glowing book behind me. That's The Art of Seduction. No, is it? What book is that? No, it isn't. Oh my gosh, it's not orange. It's orange on the screen, but it's actually fluorescent green. You guys are I'm seeing orange here, but it's not orange. It's bright, bright, bright green, and it's by a guy called Douglas Adams. Can anybody guess what the meaning of life and the universe and everything is?
Speech in this country, which spans from the serious to the comedic to the cultural, as we've covered, that she is there for Jimmy Kimmel, who successfully fought back Trump's efforts to censor him through the abuse of government power. Now, Rosie made her own choice to actually move to Ireland days before Trump's second inauguration.
I've been living in Ireland for the past 2 years because of Mango Mussolini. I read that Project 2025 and said, got to get myself out of here, And I decided to go to Ireland, a place where people are driven to drink regardless of who's running their country.
O'Donnell discussing.
It was bright orange because it was a green. It's the only thing that's green in this room, and I had the green screen on because I usually have a green screen, and this book was showing in between. It's the only thing that's green in this room. That's why it was glowing. Isn't that fun? It's 42 exactly, Crazy Jackdaw. Now you can see what book it is, right? You can see what book it is back there.
Her own recent history, her political sort of situation, while also doing what she and Kimmel do so well that makes them such potent foes to this president who can't take a joke, mixing in a little humor. But this is also in the news tonight because of a wider development. ABC fighting back against those efforts to censor and bully and abuse power against Kimmel and other ABC programming. So ABC's filed this new lawsuit against the Trump FCC over their threats and retaliation campaign to potentially try to force some stations off the air. ABC, coming out swinging, says the Trump FCC is waging this retaliatory campaign for one reason: the Trump administration, quote, disapproves of ABC's editorial choices. The suit also says these ABC stations have no choice but to seek judicial protection against this Trump FCC's assault on their, quote, right to speak. And that's what this comes down to. We have never seen the Federal Communications Commission blatantly abused in this way with its...
You guys are saying the TV is loud. Am I louder now?
...leadership and, of course, the president above it admitting the plot. Here is the Trump FCC chair.
How's it sound, guys? How's it sound?
I'd be surprised if we ultimately don't go down the path of license revocation for some. President Trump is fundamentally reshaping the entire media ecosystem. Look at the changes.
This guy is a piece of fucking garbage. This guy, Brendan Carr, he's the reason why my radio show isn't on the air anymore in Public Radio Houston.
Last couple of years that I think are attributable to Trump running at the fake news media. You've got NPR defunded. You've got PBS defunded. You've got CBS having new ownership. CNN is getting new ownership.
Sweet Havoc, I am actually really touched that my poetry has gotten in your head, and it really is amazing. That is a wonderful poem. If that poem is living in your head rent-free, I am stoked, Sweet Havoc. That's what a poem is supposed to do. It's like an earworm. You don't know why. Look at how many people are who keep on singing. A bunch of Americans are like, "Doobis good canoog, doobis good canoog." The TV is twice as loud as me. I'll do it right now. I am stoked that you guys are so into my poetry. Thank you, Sweet Havoc. I know you keep on saying you hate it, but the fact that there's a reaction like that shows you how much poetry really can move people. And I'm pleased as punch. I'm actually, please insult my poetry more, because it's way better than apathy. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
They admit it. The government is not supposed to, quote, reshape the independent press at all. And you don't need to be a constitutional scholar to remember why this is the very First Amendment, the one that so many people are familiar with. There's a bunch of other sort of...
Reminder that it was illegal to have interracial relationships with LGBT people on TV, and they're acting like it's never happened before. Yeah, Raccoon. You know what's funny to me? Like and subscribe. You know what's funny to me? I got in this argument with Dennis Herrera, who is a right-wing commentator. He's this right-wing nut job. He's a race traitor. He's a class traitor. He's a piece of shit. But he's like, "Call in, Skyjack. Call in. Yeah, call in." And so I called in. And he's like, the law is righteous and just. The law is always righteous and just. And I'm like, oh, it is it? So slavery is righteous because it was legal? And he agreed that slavery was righteous because it was legal, so it was okay. Pro-slavery, Dennis Herrera. That's a great bite, a great bullet to bite.
It's important amendments, and certainly the founders didn't put first. Because a democracy governed with the consent of the public needs free speech for the public, the candidates and the people they rely on, or you don't really have a democracy at all. That's how serious this is. That's what ABC is up against. And so they are taking a rare step here to suing the government, the Trump administration. And remember, if you're thinking, well, that's unusual, right? It is, because news networks usually go out of their way to try to remain both neutral in fact and certainly in how they'll be perceived. And so if you are suing and thus criticizing the government, not as part of your news coverage, but kind of as part of the arm of your station, well, you risk people saying, oh, I guess they really are against the government.
You see, this is how Donald Trump cools any kind of freedom of speech. It doesn't necessarily require him to pass laws against people speaking. He just needs to apply pressure. And anybody in management or in executive positions knows this. You don't have to go changing the union bylaws in order to get rid of somebody. You just need to apply constant pressure, and that person will be so uncomfortable they will leave the building. And it's against the law. It's against the law to do it, but a lot of people do. They do it all the time. It's really easy to constantly be on someone's ass and make their job so fucking, it's called hostile work environment, right? Make it so unbearable that they have to leave. And it keeps them always on their toes and always like this, always cringing and their shoulders up to their ears because they can't stand the stress. That's what's happening in America with freedom of speech. We've never really had freedom of speech. Don't forget they arrested Martin Luther King Jr. 30 times for talking before they eventually murdered him after trying to get him to kill himself. So this is, I mean, and that's just, you can just look it up. It's open. The files have been classified. That is exactly what happened. And here we are going, well, freedom of speech is really a thing and Donald Trump loves it. No, he is constantly trying to undermine it through people like Brendan Carr saying like he's going to, we could do this the easy way or the hard way. We're going to get rid of your FCC licenses. You're going to take on Disney. And Disney bent the knee over and over and over again, genuflecting before this administration saying, yeah, here's $15 million because we said the R word, rape, when we talked about Donald Trump, and we should have said sexual assault. Sure, here's $15 million, whatever. We're Disney. Who cares? That's like 5 minutes at Disneyland for us. Here, have $15 million. And then they took Jimmy Kimmel off the air, and now he's back on, and now they're suing Donald Trump. They're suing him. It's pretty incredible. Pretty incredible.
Government. That's what's happening. And it wouldn't have happened without Jimmy Kimmel's brave stand, where he risked his whole career saying he wouldn't just give in and say whatever they wanted him to say. And then eventually ABC found its strength.
Found its spine. And that's what happens. This is why protest is important. This is why activism is important. This is why dragging your heels and taking on the boss is important, because when you take on your boss, when you take on the people in power, sometimes they find their conscience, their soul, or just their spine, because a lot of times they are also feeling the pressure. ABC and the C-suite over at Disney felt the pressure by Disney and Brendan Carr. Disney felt the pressure by Donald Trump and Brendan Carr. And now, because of people, of activists canceling their Hulu, even people canceling their fucking Hulu, people saying, I'm not going to watch Star Wars anymore, people saying I'm boycotting, Jimmy Kimmel himself saying, fuck you, I'm not doing this, I'm not going to bow down. All of a sudden, the C-suite finds their spine. It's remarkable. And it's kind of, you should be proud that there's people out there still, they're still figuring it out. I mean, it's only been almost 2 years of this nonsense, but here we are. People are starting to stand up. You are really a piece of work. I am? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I love that. Thank you so much. Sweet Havoc. The left wants to get rid of freedom of speech, especially for anyone with a different opinion. The fuck are you talking about? No, they don't. What the fuck left has ever done anything to you about freedom of speech? When have they done that? When has the left had anything to do with your freedom of speech? Now, some liberals, they don't like people, I don't like when people say certain words because it offends me and I'm so sensitive and I'm going to be mad at you at Twitter. On Twitter, I'm going to tweet at you. I'm going to send a tweet at you. But no fucking left-wing, first of all, no left-wing person has ever been in power, but even people as liberal as Barack Obama, who like threatened to take Fox News out of the White House Correspondents' Room, he didn't. He didn't do it. He said he was gonna, then he didn't, because people said, hey, that's fucking tyranny, asshole. We can't do that. You can't just take Fox News out of the White House. And so he didn't do it. Some people think he should have, but he didn't do it. Yeah. Your dumb false choice poll. What poll is on the screen right now? What poll is on the screen right now? Oh, it's the KKK or the refugee. Well, which one are you with? If you got to pick one, Red Hawk, who are you with? The KKK or the refugee? Who are you with? Red Hawk? Red Hawk, you're with the KKK, I'm guessing. If you're offended by that, are you with the KKK or the refugee? You're probably with the KKK, aren't you? It's pretty clear you're with the KKK if you're really offended by that poll.
Now, that is my observation. If you follow this show closely, you might recall I practiced First Amendment law before I came in full-time to this network. But here's how the New York Times put it today. The ABC lawsuit is, quote, unusual for this reason, a rare example of a major media organization suing the administration over its unrelenting campaign to punish the press through regulation and lawsuits. And, of course, it is usually Trump and his many lawyers who are suing everybody else. In fact, you can see there's many different cases we've tracked.
Okay, well, the police protect Nazi marches, and yes, they do that. If you are saying something that's like pro-institution, pro-state power, pro-authoritarianism, then you get freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. But if you say something that criticizes the government, challenges the status quo, or simply says, hey, I don't like the way things are going, you will be put in jail. probably beaten, maybe shot, but you will definitely spend a second in jail, even if you're just there. I mean, our friend Crystal, friend of the show, she was just walking down the street. She lives in Los Angeles, walking down the street where she lives in her neighborhood, and she was arrested because she was outside during a protest. Yeah, freedom of speech, huh? Freedom of speech? Okay. Yeah, freedom of speech. Totally.
Act against media companies, the tech companies, which increasingly matter in media, right? YouTube is a platform, and on the left, so many.
I mean, shit, do I need to talk about all the times I've been arrested? How many times police have put their fucking hands on me for talking? Or how many times I get death threats on YouTube and Facebook and Kick for talking? How many times I get that every day? People like this guy, Red Hawk. You are going TDS all day, so you have a right to say it. What do you mean TDS? Wait, did I even say anything about Trump in the last 20 minutes? I don't even think did I? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. This is a news reaction show, dumb fuck. So we talk about the president because he's in the news a lot. I don't know if you noticed, but Stephen, what's his face? That pus-filled, corpse-looking man. What's that guy's name? That Stephen fuckface with the big fat face, and he's all falling apart. It's really disgusting. What's that guy's name from Breitbart? That guy, he says that he wants to flood the zone with shit and keep Donald Trump in the news all the time. Same with Stephen Chung, his dude, his right-hand man, his campaign manager and chief of staff, Stephen Chung. Those guys, they want Donald Trump in the news all the time. And then when we talk about the news, you guys are like, you guys have TDS. Why are you always talking about Donald Trump? He's in the fucking news every day. He won't stop doing shit that fucks people up. He won't stop murdering people. He won't stop molesting children. He won't stop raping women. He won't stop destroying the institutions in which, some people had some faith. All those, I think most people have lost faith in the institutions, but, many people still had faith in those institutions, and Donald Trump has eroded that faith intentionally.
Outlets, including the Rupert Murdoch-owned Fox News sister paper, The Wall Street Journal. Trump's suing them all, and usually on nights like this, I'm here reporting to you about what those companies have to say in response in court. But tonight, I'm telling
Sweet Havoc, what are you talking? The left puts labels on anyone with a different opinion. Who is the left, by the way? You never answer that question, Sweet Havoc. I don't know who you think the left is. It's weird that you always say it. I don't know who you're talking about when you say the left, dude, because you're just like all over the place. I haven't said one thing racist here. Oh, they put labels on everyone with a different opinion. Well, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what everybody does. At least it's not always just communist. I mean, Donald Trump, the greatest threat to America is the Arab nations getting nuclear weapons. I mean, it's also affordability. The greatest threat is the China. The greatest threat is the trade deficit. The greatest threat is communism. That's my favorite lately. He's like, the greatest threat is communism. And he does that fucking face. What is that face? Communism. Like an imbecile who doesn't know what the word he just said meant. I mean, the dude put anybody. They're communist fascists. And they're also Antifa. They're anti-fascist, fascist, communist, proletariat, social democrats. And they're radical left, and they're also liberal, and they're also black and Latino. They're black. They're black. I don't like. They're all black. Donald Trump is like that guy that runs the South African embassy in Lethal Weapon Part 2. When Donald Glover wants to go to South Africa, and he's like, "But you're black." But you're black.
you about how they are picking the fight, so to speak, why they are bringing the FCC to court. And again, that's only because Kimmel fought and he won, and ABC found that something a lot of liberals were saying, frankly, from day one of this experiment, giving in only makes it worse. If you are right, if the law is on your side, and I don't mean in a liberal or conservative way, liberals just happen to be the ones to point this out, but if you are right about the First Amendment free speech, then yeah, you better fight, not give in. What do you see as important in ABC taking a relatively rare...
America has never believed in the freedom of speech. Never has. There's always been gag orders on the press. There's always been activists being silenced by arrest or simply by funneling them off through algorithms today. But earlier it would be just like, no one's going to publish him. No one can publish him. If you publish that person, then we won't let you into the White House anymore. That has always been a thing in America. Freedom of speech is a joke. You can only have freedom of speech in America. You have it if you are part of the hegemony and if you support the status quo and the people in power. Then you have freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want then, as long as it's pro the ruling class. If you question the ruling class, you'll be murdered, silenced, incarcerated, or just marginalized. They'll just push you off to the side. It's pretty easy for them to do that. There's a whole book about it called The Manufacturing of Consent. You should read it if you care about things like that. Hey, with eyes unclouded. What a beautiful man. What a beautiful man with eyes unclouded. When are you coming back on the show, honey pie? When are you coming back on the show, sweetie tits?
I'm suing.
When are you coming back on the show, sweet tits? You beautiful banana nose. How you doing, banana nose? Do you guys remember? Does anybody remember the Jerky Boys? How you doing there, barrel chest? How you doing there, sizzle chest? Honey tits. How you doing there, honey tits? When eyes unclouded, when you coming back on the show, honey tits? You gotta come on back, honey tits. Please let me know when you come on back. Come on back. We should do a Siskel and Ebert thing? Fuck yeah. Will you watch the Milagro of the Bean Field? I would love to watch the Milagro of the Bean Field, and we can talk about the Siskel and Ebert thing. You want to do a movie review show? Fuck yes. Yes. The answer is yes. 1,000 times yes. You are the freedom of speech, not impressive in your case, but still free. It's not free, Red Hawk. I am right now speaking to where the algorithm allows me to speak. That's not free speech. There's no net neutrality. There's no way that I can broadcast everywhere I want to go and get equal footing in the marketplace of ideas. That's not an actual thing. The marketplace of an idea was what the Supreme Court used to try to say that there was a way that lies and truths should both have equal footing, even though every time a reputable study is done about the way lies and truth travel, lies travel much more quickly, and then truth eventually does catch up, but only way later, and the damage is always done. Which is, Tom Virilio's idea of the dromosphere is exactly why that happens, because the ruling classes use that, and they always have, used speed as a way to control people. And they've always known that lies travel more quickly than truth. That's been something that they've known since Machiavelli. That's pre-United States of America, they've known these things. And yet now there's studies that show it because of things like Twitter. They can actually have hard data that show that this is absolutely 100% true. OMG, yes, yet. Hey, honey tits. You remember that? El Sayed Massey, 2028. Ooh, is El Sayed was born here. You're right. He can run, but they've been lying to us for 80 years. Read the fourth turning, good info on what's going on and why. You could movie watch reviews like Mystery Science Theater. Oh, that would be fun. I've thought about doing something like that on Discord. It's really hard to do it on YouTube. They would just shut us down immediately. But we could do it on Discord or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. Fox and Friends is talking about stuff about OSIF. Everyone's talking about OSIF. Looks like Sayard Yan says OSIF 2028. OSOF? I should learn how to say his name properly. I say OSIF because it looks like Osif to me, but I guess because I think of Osage orange, but I guess it's an Osof. Is it? Do you say Osof or Osif?
Senator John Ossoff takes a page out of Gavin Newsom's playbook.
Okay, so on Fox News they say Ossoff, like Qatar. The accent is on both, like the syllabic accent is on both syllables. Qatar, Asaf. It's hard to say words like that. I think they're called spondies. Is that a spondy? I don't know. It's been a long time since I studied English and was an English major, but I think it's called a spondy, where the accent's on both syllables. Asaf. Qatar. It's not Qatar or Qatar. It's Qatar and Asaf. They're hard words to say.
Personal insults.
Lucas Tomlinson is live outside of the White House with the details for us. Hey, Lucas.
Like insult. Insult. No, I guess insult would be like, wait, I am, and there's an I am, a trochee, and a spondy, right? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've done any poetic scanning, but here we go. Ossoff.
Good morning, Ainsley. Good morning, fellows. Well, some eyebrows were raised when Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff, who some see as a Democratic hopeful for president in 2028, made the following comments on Sunday.
He doesn't want to do the job. He wants to build his ballroom and travel with Natalie on their apparently defenseless flying palace gifted by the
Whoa, dirty.
So who is Natalie Harp, the 35-year-old presidential aide seen every day by the president's side, armed with multiple laptops and 3 to 4 mobile phones? In 2019, Harp went on Fox and thanked President Trump for signing the right to try law. She said that she had stage 2 bone cancer and that the new law allowed her to access experimental treatments, which she said saved her life.
Were those experimental treatments, stem cell treatments? I would like to know, was Natalie Harp's experimental bone surgery treatment thing, was that having anything to do with stem cells? Yeah, experts doubt that that's actually true at all. Harp said that she was diagnosed with stage 2 bone cancer and failed the 2 of it. Oh no, it's all a lie. Oh no, Trump actually didn't save Natalie Harp's. It looks like it might not be true at all. It might not even be a thing at all, that she just lied about her bone stuff. Natalie Harp did not. No, she did not have any stem cells. She had off-label use that was unapproved. After failing standard chemotherapy rounds, her oncologist treated her using an FDA-approved immunotherapy medication prescribed off-label to target her specific cancer. It did not involve stem cell transplants, surgical bone modifications. The right to try. Harp publicly credited the 2018 Right to Try Act saving her life. However, medical experts clarified that because her drug was already FDA approved, she received standard off-label medical care rather than an experimental drug. So she just fucking lied. Okay, so it was just a lie. Sorry for the tangent. I just wanted to know if she had stem cells because, the whole IVF and how every embryo is a human thing is kind of plaguing America right now. And stem cells come out of embryonic cells of human beings, of human stem cells. Ugh. Well, thank God we dodged that quagmire, and she's just a fucking liar.
Hearing about her experience, President Trump asked her to speak at the 2020 Republican convention. She was one of the select few chosen to accompany the president when he was sneaked off Air Force One in Turkey last month. Now, not all Democrats are okay with Senator Ossoff's comments. Here's President Obama's former chief strategist, David Axelrod, posting, "No one has been more consistently eloquent or incisive in exposing Donald Trump than Ossoff. The paragraph from his weekend speech that's gotten so much attention was a brutal takedown. But 2 words in it with Natalie seemed gratuitous and unnecessary. The juice, the virality of it, I'm sure, probably thrilled some in the base, which figured it was just giving Trump a taste of his own nasty medicine. But they detracted from the power of the message." Now, Ossoff is running for re-election in Georgia. Back in 2016, Georgia had 2 Republican senators. Today, 1. And the White House has pushed back strongly on Senator Ossoff's comments, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. Do you remember a while back when Donald Trump posted, Donald Trump, usually it's Natalie actually posts these things, right? And they posted him as Jesus healing that dude and like this weird demons in the sky holding it was very weird AI video of him as Jesus healing. I think that's why. Maybe she just made that. She was just like, Donald Trump is a healer. He healed my cancer. One time I was hitchhiking through California and the guy thought Billy Graham healed his cancer. And I was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, the driver, he picked me up and he was like, oh, yeah, Billy Graham, huh? Yeah, Jesus. You guys love Jesus? I'm like, yeah, we love Jesus. Yeah, totally. Yeah, we're just an hour left, right? yeah. So Jesus cured your cancer, did he? Awesome. That's cool. I'm happy for you, buddy.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it, Lucas.
Through the TV? He cured it through the TV? You mean you didn't even go to one of his sermons? He just looked at you through the TV and cured your cancer? That's fucking amazing. Good for you.
Also showing he's running for president. Yeah, reason. Number 2 is you're running against Michael Collins, and he calls him a white supremacist. What are you, an idiot? There's nothing a white supremacist about him. He's just a successful businessman. And number 2 is why you bring up
There's nothing white supremacist about successful businessmen in America. Shut up, idiot.
A great assistant to the president of the United States. So irresponsible to bring that up. And you're not running against President Trump. I have news for you. Tell that to Gavin Newsom. All his ripping on Donald Trump has gotten him nowhere. He's fourth in the polls. If Trump was on the ballot, if Trump was going to run again, I could see a strategy. But you're running against somebody that's you're not even relevant to him.
I don't know. There's a lot of hats out there that says Trump 2028. And in my chat every day, someone says Trump 2028. Are you sure we're not running against Donald Trump?
You're in the minority. You're not doing anything legislatively. And now you just want to...
You're in the minority. We hate minorities in America. You're not allowed to be in a minority and have a fucking opinion. Shut up. You're in the minority. You're not allowed to espouse any kind of opinion. It's not like we have freedom of speech in America. Shut up. Shut up, minorities. Goddamn.
You throw out barbs in order to get another 6 years as a senator.
Yeah, President Trump surrounds himself by very strong, engaged women who are very good at their job.
And then he fires them. And that one lady who got fired for drinking, who was that? Who was that secretary of whatever that got fired for drinking too much by Donald Trump? What was her name? Caroline Leavitt. Lori Chavez DeRemer. Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez DeRemer. She got fired for drinking too much, and now, now what's her face? The press secretary. They're all getting fired. He surrounds himself by powerful women. Oh, you mean the cannon fodder?
It's unbelievable how many people he surrounds himself.
Even Ainsley right here is like, no.
With like this. And then Jon Ossoff wants to attack her because she's attractive. That's the reason why he attacked her. And then accuses her of having an affair.
Because she's attractive? He attacked her because she's attractive? What the fuck is up with you guys over on the Trump team? You hate hot chicks or you love hot chicks? What's the deal? They hate her because she's attractive. What? You guys never heard of pretty privilege? People don't get attacked because they're hot. Jon Ossoff is not attacking the woman because she's attractive. Is she attractive? I mean, should we do a poll? Is Natalie Harp attractive? I don't know. I don't even want to do that. Anyway, that sounds like a landmine or a landfill. Sounds like a landfill.
It's disgusting, and I thought it was really interesting watching him backpedal. As soon as he got into it, and it reveals two things. One is...
You mean with Jen Psaki?
With Jen Psaki. One, he's very stupid for saying it in the first place. It was in his speech. They thought about it. They put it in there purposefully because he wanted to be daring. And so he does that. But then he chickens and starts backpedaling.
Who is the person that brought cocaine into the White House during the Democrats' time in office? Who cares? The Democrats' time in office? Who the fuck are you talking about? First of all, I don't know if you heard, but Donald Trump just pardoned the former president of Honduras, what's his name, Orlando Ortiz, and he brought, 400 tons or 4,000 tons of cocaine into this country? You really want to talk about cocaine? Donald Trump did cocaine boner bumps off of young men's erections in Studio 54. It's well documented. It's a huge rumor. I know it's just a rumor, but I like peddling rumors. And you know, it's a valid rumor. Donald Trump spent lots of time in Studio 54. He did a lot of cocaine in the days. He even said that they bring all the cocaine in the country and thank you very much, I guess, but no more. I mean, this is what he said. That was his, that's literally what he said. They bring all the cocaine in the country, and I guess thank you very much, but no more. What the fuck? He and Don Jr. have done lots of coke off of the ass cracks of prostitutes. I promise you this. Donald Trump and Don Jr., they had this wonderful moment when Don Jr. was finally old enough to do cocaine in front of his dad. It's kind of like with normal people when you finally have like a glass of wine with your dad or a beer with your dad, and you're like, I'm a grown-up now. I'm an adult. My dad and I are sharing a beer and talking about bitches or whatever the fuck you guys talk about with your dads. And you're like, yeah, you know, two guys. In the Trump world, they're doing boner bumps. They're doing lines of coke off of the erections of prepubescent boys.
When he goes on MS Now, and that was one of the weakest performances I've ever seen. I think that this incident ripped the mask off. There are a lot of Democrats who think he's their great hope for 2028.
Be sure to great hope for 2028. I don't know, Ossoff. Do you think Ossoff is a great hope for 2028? I don't think there is any hope for 2028. If the last whatever presidents since Reagan. Let's see, it's Reagan, George H.W. Bush, Clinton, George W. Bush, Barack Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump. 8 presidents since Reagan. Well, I guess what I would say is that it's gotten worse. With every fucking step, it's gotten worse. Even you guys are like, what? Barack Obama wasn't worse than George W. Bush. I mean, it's still a clear progress to the degradation of the United States of America. We've clearly reached the top of peak America, and we are on the downslope as our empire crumbles. We are going downhill. It's gonna get worse. The next guy is not gonna save you. So, I mean, is it gonna be worse? Who's gonna be worse? If you want to know who's gonna be president next, think whoever will be worse than Donald Trump. That's how you'll know. Then you'll be closer to the truth. Thanks everybody for watching. My name is Sky Jack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. This is the Morning Sky Show, the #1 news reaction show on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. Wonderful. That was lots of fun. Thank you for watching that with me, everybody. That was good.
There are a couple different ways you could look at the war right now. You could accept the White House's version. Donald Trump insists that Iran wants a deal and that the U.S. controls the Strait of Hormuz. His son-in-law, Jared Kushner, says that negotiations with Iran are robust, and Trump is outright dismissing concerns about conditions on the USS Lincoln as fake news.
Well, I mean, six men, yes, but you got 2 for Donald Trump because he's 45 and 47. So I counted Donald Trump twice, just human, just saying. But yeah, okay. You count it however you want. I don't get, it doesn't matter. Since Reagan, fail.
On the other hand, you could choose not to accept the White House's version, which they're offering no facts to back up their views. Reports overnight say a ship was hit on the Strait of Hormuz, damaging the engine room and causing a crew casualty. The Wall Street Journal says American officials are worried Oman could help broker a nuclear deal that is more favorable to Tehran. That is on top of...
Thank you, Adam Lomax. I'm terribly sorry to have missed your silver star. Thank you so much. I didn't see it when it came in. I appreciate you very, very much. You're a wonderful human being. A credit to your race, a credit to the human species. Thank you so much for doing that.
It's reporting that Iran is looking to now...
Can I get some jubilation for Adam Lomax in the chat? Some emojis appreciating someone supporting the channel that we all know and love, the Sky Jack Morgan channel.
Expand the war as Trump says Tehran should put up the white flag of surrender. And the Pentagon is now admitting that a Navy destroyer was without power for 4 days last month, leaving the crew without drinkable water, meals, running toilets, or air conditioning during that period of time. Joining me now to discuss, David Rode, MS Now senior national security reporter, and Peter Baker still here. Okay, David, day after day, the president keeps saying things like the Strait of Hormuz, it's open, everything is great, the U.S. is in control, and now we have another ship hit overnight and a crew member dies.
It is not open. The Trump effort to reopen it has failed. And then the other strait here, this is how the war is widening, is in the Red Sea. There's fighting there. It's another Wall Street Journal story about traffic being slowed down there. 4 sailors were killed on a ship in the Red Sea last week. So the president's narrative, according to the sources I'm talking to, and just basic fact, is false.
Peter, right now Oman is negotiating with Iran over the strait. And in the midst of that, we talked about it yesterday, the president threatened to bomb the you-know-what out of Oman, a U.S. military ally, for almost 50 years. I don't know how else to look at this, but that the United States is trapped in this war, and everything the president is saying and doing just isn't rooted in fact.
Yeah, it's so striking. You're right to point that out. We've gotten so inured.
Yeah, we're so surprised that Donald Trump's lying about the war in Iran.
To a president who is willing to say and sometimes do almost anything, that somehow we've lost the capacity for shock. But in fact, to sit there and sort of randomly, almost cavalierly threaten war against a country with which we have friendly relations is in fact, a striking moment. And it tells us something that he wants to be belligerent with the countries that have been friendly to us.
Man, I was waiting for my goddamn Doge check to come in the mail, and then he starts a goddamn war. I was waiting for my tariff check to come in the mail, and then he only gave tariff checks to multi-billion-dollar corporations. What's the deal? Who are these people? Why? You think you're getting a check, and then all of a sudden, he starts a war in Iran. What's the deal?
Us. At the same time, he's once again talking about how he has such great respect for Kim Jong-un and North Korea, and he wants to stop military exercises because it's so mean to North Korea, which, by the way, has something like 60 nuclear warheads compared to 0 right now in Iran. And he says the whole point of the Iran war was to stop them from getting a nuclear weapon. Well, on his watch and on President Biden's watch, North Korea has expanded its nuclear arsenal substantially without any kind of action or consequence from the United States. We have a president who seems to think that Kim Jong-un is his friend and Oman is not.
You know what's funny? It's always this way where, fucking JFK tried to keep Israel from getting nuclear weapons and said that if you get nuclear weapons, Israel, we will not support you. That's a line too far. There's a red line in the sand. If you start enriching uranium, God damn it, Israel, we will not support you anymore. Said JF fucking K. And here we are. Israel still doesn't admit it, but we know they have nuclear weapons because the French did it. The French, those dirty French bastards, they gave them the nukes. We think of America digging in other people's shit all the time, but the French are just as dirty as we are. And it's like, God damn it, France. Son of a bitch, France. We let you in the nuclear club, and what did you do? You gave the nukes to the Jews? God damn it. So now they got the nukes, and everyone's pissed. Everyone's pissed. The whole reason they didn't want the Israelis to have nukes was because everyone else is going to want nukes now. And guess what? Of course they would. If your neighbor got a bunch of nukes and they hate you and they hate Muslims and they want to kill you all, you would want to have nukes. Of course you would. It's the only way to keep the Americans from killing all of you.
Okay, we've been talking about this for days. We've been covering the story on this network for weeks. We now have the families of sailors on board the Lincoln furious that the president is dismissing their concerns about the conditions on the ship, saying it's fake news. And now we learned that a destroyer was without power for 4 days. What is the American public supposed to make of this?
That the U.S. Navy is under tremendous strain, that previous administrations maybe didn't build enough ships to be fair. But this is just an unforced political error by President Trump. There's no need to belittle
going
sailors.
to war?
Well, there's the strategic error, but the
also an unforced political error.
And sorry, just on Oman, they're angry at the Omani foreign minister. I interviewed him right before the war started. He said the Iranians are willing to negotiate, and the administration rejected that advice. This was February 27th. I interviewed the Omani foreign minister. He was leading the talks. February 28th, President Trump chose to bomb. So that's why they're mad at Oman. But it's a basic political error to belittle the families of sailors and belittle sailors who are out on these boats for 12 months at a time, and we are unable to resupply them. Why? Because Pete Hegseth hid the fact that Iran destroyed the main resupply base that the United States has.
No. I'll tell you the real reason. Let me tell you the real reason why Donald Trump hates the Navy. It's because he always preferred the Village People's YMCA. You know, the Village People also released the song, "In the Navy, you can sail the 7 seas. In the Navy, you get beat up by Marines." He hated that shit. It's too gay for him. He doesn't like the overt gayness of the "In the Navy" song. He prefers the gayness of the YMCA, because Donald Trump knows that it is fun to stay at the YMCA if you're super gay in the 1970s, because Donald Trump was there doing boner bumps off of the erections of young men. He was there, man. He was doing boner bumps. He loves the YMCA song. He hates the "In the Navy" song. He hates it. You never hear the "In the Navy" song being played anytime you see Donald Trump, you never hear that "In the Navy" song. And that's why he said, fuck them Navy boys, fuck them sailors. We don't care if they're dying out there. We don't care if they're on a boat for 9 months. He said that they should be out there longer on the USS Abraham Lincoln. Be out there longer, he says. Stay on that boat, you pitiful little worm-faced American sailors. Stay out there. You're lucky to be out there. Like, how do you reconcile that, everybody? How do you still support a president who is first of all waging an illegal war, putting people out to sea on a boat, and the reason why they don't have any re-ups or any kind of backup or any kind of proper treatment or plan to get these guys rotated out for any kind of shore leave, is because the asshole keeps saying, in two weeks, it'll be 2 weeks, we're opening the strait, we're closing the strait, we're opening it up, shop, open up shop, shut her down, open up shop. He's insane, and he's just barreling toward, he's making this shit up as he goes. There's no fucking plan to get these boys any kind of shore leave so they're not clawing at the walls on this fucking floating terror island. He doesn't care about young men stuck on islands. He doesn't care about young girls stuck on islands. He doesn't care about anybody stuck on the water. Don't forget what he did to Puerto Rico when he said, "We had no idea it was so hard when they have a hurricane. No idea that they were an island. I thought they were a peninsula. I thought they were a peninsula. I thought they were a peninsula. Kind of reminds me of penises. Kind of reminds me of Arnold Palmer. He had such a nice he was all man. Oh my God, he was all man. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous old man." Jumping off ships. Yeah, I don't know if you know, but like the jumping off ships thing is common. It's commonplace. I've had lots of friends who were in the Marines and went to Iraq. It was back then, it was all about Iraq. And they remembered, even on the boat ride over to Iraq, not everybody made it. Some people just disappeared. And they would just walk away being like, "All right, guys, I'm going to get another whatever. I'm going to get another sandwich, blah, blah, blah." And then they would just disappear. And back then they were allowed like 2 beers for like the whole trip. I forget. They had like something. Now there's, I think, 0 alcohol on the ships. Imagine being stuck on that fucking boat, no alcohol. They're making prison jungle. That's what they're doing. You realize if you're on a boat like that for that long, you're making that jailhouse alcohol. What's it called? Poncho or whatever. I forget what it's called. And that's what they're doing on that boat. There's people taking shits all over. They call it the mad shitter syndrome. Ask anybody in the Navy, they'll tell you there's this thing where people they'll just find piles of human shit and no one knows who it is. It's just something that happens on boats. People start going crazy. Hooch. Yeah, not hooch. No, not hooch. It's a whole thing. Scumbag Democrats, LBJ's Vietnam War draft. Well, you know, Vietnam War was a dangerous thing. Donald Trump didn't go, did he? He dodged that draft, didn't he? Pruno, thank you. Coast Sider knows what I'm talking about. Pruno. I'm talking about Pruno, son. Yeah, they're making Pruno. Thank you, Leif Erikson. You guys know what I'm talking about. Radiator wine. Yeah. That's what they're doing on that boat right now. Anybody who has ever met anyone in the Navy knows what's actually happening on that ship. People are fucking disappearing. It's not just 2 people tried to drop off. People are disappearing. They're unaccounted for. People are taking shits in the hallways because they're losing their fucking minds. Men are fighting, probably fucking each other. They're doing crazy shit. Military boredom is one of the most dangerous things in the history of the world. Ernest Hemingway talks about it. Vietnam soldiers, they'd be stuck in places with an anxiety level up to here, but bored. And they start doing weird shit, man. It fucks with your brain. Ask anybody that was in the desert during Iraq, in either of the Iraq conflicts. They'll tell you people start doing weird shit. If you talk to old Vietnam vets, they'll talk to you about people like collecting toes and shit, like doing weird, crazy person shit. They're normal people, and then they're putting this. Abu Ghraib is an example of that. People are in this high pressure environment, and they're in charge of other people, and they start doing weird shit. That's what's happening on that boat right now over in the USS Abraham Lincoln. It's scary. It's sad. It's horrible. I think we should save them. I think we should maybe stop the bombs, stop the war. WW2 Democrat President Truman dropped Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Shane Lewis, what the fuck are you talking about? You want to talk about Nagasaki and Hiroshima? It's not very topical, but I'm all in if you want to talk about it.
We all know the future of Trump's presidency rides on the midterm elections. So I dug thousands of polls to chart out each and every possible scenario for how the balance of power in Washington, D.C. will be after the midterm elections. And we're going to go through them from the least likely to the most likely. Scenario number 1, and I'm going to tell you why each scenario could, in fact, possibly happen. And remember, the numbers, they speak for themselves. So don't blame the messenger. And we're going to start off with the least likely scenario.
This guy's so weird. Korean War? You know, my uncle just died. He was the only guy I knew who fought in the Korean War. He's the only guy I've ever met who fought in Korea. And you're like, Korea, though! World War II, though! Like, what the fuck are you talking about, you fucking idiot? Like, how stupid are you to be talking about the Korean War? Like, what? 1951 to 1954, I think? The Korean War? Okay. Yeah, must have been the Democrats. Yeah. The Democrats start the wars because of Korea, though. Are you trying to say that Democrats and Republicans are the same? Because I say that all the time. The unitard party, like if you are obsessed with Democrats, you're a part of the problem. If you're obsessed with Republicans, you're part of the problem. These fucking parties only serve themselves. They do not serve you. They do not serve the people. They do not care about you. They think you are nothing but a tool to keep them in power. And every few years, they'll pander to you and try to tell you whatever you want to hear. But they don't care. Their real power is to keep power. Their real agenda is to keep the oligarchs in control. Because that's who their friends are. That's who they went to college with. That's who they sit on boards with. That's who they golf with. It's their buddies. You're not their buddy. You're nobody to them. You're a useful idiot.
Scenario number 4, and that is less than a 1% chance that Republicans hold on to the U.S. House of Representatives, but Democrats actually win the United States Senate. How could this possibly happen? Well, if you have been following politics over the last year or so, you know, of course, there was the big redistricting that happened across the political map. It was happening everywhere from the great state of Texas all the way out to the leftmost coast of California, the great state of California, with all those electoral votes. And you can see here the national vote margin, Dems need to win the House control. Well, under the current lines, right, the lines that are happening right now, they only would have to have won the national House popular vote by less than a point. So basically any win would have gotten in the House. But now with redistricting, look at this. The Democrats, in order to win back the House of Representatives, they have to win by anywhere from 3 all the way up to 4 percentage points. So Democrats can't just win by a little. They got to win by a lot to win back the House. On the other hand, what are we seeing in terms of the Senate that could make this scenario possibly happen, even if it isn't too likely? Well, it's all about Donald Trump, baby. It's all about Donald Trump. Look at Trump's net approval rating across these Senate battleground states. And these are states, Democrats have to win at least a few of them for control. Look at them. They're red. They're red across the political map. A state like Texas that Donald Trump won by double digits. He's way down underwater in the Rio Grande Valley at -9 points. Ohio, another state he won by double digits, 10 points underwater. Iowa, the great field of dreams. Well, it's a field of nightmares right now for Donald Trump. He's 10 points underwater. North Carolina, the Tar Heel state, 14 points underwater. In Maine, where, of course, Susan Collins is running, and Democrats have, let's say, had some issues. But even there, look at that. Donald Trump is...
Let's say had some issues. The Democrats somehow got a Nazi, Mr. Nazi tattoo. The Democrats have had issues in Maine. Gulp. Yeah, let's say issue. I mean, how do we talk about Graham Plattner in the future? The Democrats, they supported it. At least, I'll give this to the Democrats. At least when it came out that he might be a rapist, at least they were like, nope. At least there was that. They were like, okay with the Nazi tattoo because he covered it up with the pregnant dog tattoo. And then they were like, oh, he sent some text to some women that were mildly abusive back when he was a drunk. Okay, we've all been there, I guess. And then it turns out he might be a rapist. And they're like, nope. At least there was that. If the Republicans on the other side were like, he's a child molester, that's okay. He's a rapist of a woman, that's all right with us. It's his word against hers. Ugh. I mean, I hate the Democrats because they were too stupid to see that a man with a Nazi tattoo cannot be trusted because, at the very least, he makes very poor decisions in life. He was a drunk. He was a drug user. He was a Marine. He was all these things are bad decisions. He joined the Marines. He got in trouble in the Marines. When he was out, he started doing drugs and alcohol and getting onto Reddit and saying vile shit. He was abusing women when he was a drunk and when he was an alcoholic. And then, I forgot, and he got a Nazi tattoo somewhere along the line. And you guys are all like, Sky, why are you so hard on this guy? Because I got fucking standards. At least the Democrats, when it turned out that there were legitimate and believable rape allegations, that they were like, okay, fine. I guess we'll turn our backs on Graham Plattner. At least there's that.
21 points underwater. So if these elections, these Senate races are determined by Trump and redistricting...
Guys, I mean, all caps all the time is a little annoying. It's kind of hard to read the chat, guys. Please. Can you at least mix it up? I mean, a little all caps all the time is a little much, everybody.
...thing really turns out to be a big deal. Well, you couldn't in fact see a Republican House and a Democratic Senate, even if not...
Don't sweat the small stuff. I'll put it this way. I'm probably not going to put your shit on screen if you are if you're screaming. I usually won't put all caps on the screen, everybody. Don't sweat the small stuff, Scott. Yes, you're right. Don't sweat the small stuff. It's just a Nazi, just a little Nazi tattoo. It reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have ever seen the movie Super Troopers. They just came out with a third one. I will not be watching it. But if you remember the first one, which was kind of a stoner humor masterpiece, and there's this part where they're like shooting at a bulletproof cup. And they shoot at the cup, and he's got all the bullets on there. He's almost perfect, but there's a bullet all the way over here, and he's like, "What about that one? You missed." And he's like, "This little guy? Don't worry about that little guy." I feel like that's what you're talking about when you talk about the Nazi tattoo. Don't worry about the Nazi tattoo. I'm worried about the Nazi tattoo. I was always worried about the Nazi tattoo. Fucking Democrats. Don't worry. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. It's okay.
Too likely. But more likely, how about scenario number 3? What are we talking about here? Well, this comes in at 15%, not too high, but certainly much higher than less than 1%. And that is a GOP.
Do you guys remember that part, the scene I'm talking about? Meow. Do you remember the part that I'm talking about, right? Meow. Where he's like, "This little guy? Don't worry about this little guy." It's a fucking bullet hole. I loved that scene. That's the one that always, everyone loves the right meow. Meow. Not a fucking cat. Everyone loves that part. I remember I should rewatch that movie. I watched that movie high as fuck in Karlsruhe, Germany. Projected back in the day, it was like really cool if you had DVDs and you could like project a screen on your wall. That was dope. That's how I watched Super Troopers, and I haven't watched it since.
Sweep. I wish I had a broom. I'd sweep it across. What? Hold on, I'm going to tell. Yeah, Nick, next time around, get me a broom, okay? Okay, sounds good. Okay, so a GOP sweep at 15%. How could that happen? Well, take a look at the median seat needed to win control. These were the 2024 presidential results. Based upon redistricting, Trump won the median House seat by 5 points. My goodness gracious, that means that Democrats have to win at least one seat that Trump won by 5 points. What about in the United States Senate? It's even more difficult for Democrats. They have to win at least one seat that Donald Trump won, get this, by 13 points. Woof. That is very, very difficult indeed. So if the map looks anything like it did in 2024, well, Democrats...
Can we just get this guy in the movies? This guy, he belongs in the movies, this guy. You know, what's his name? I forget this guy's name all the time. I forget this guy's name. He's always with the numbers. He belongs in the movies, right?
The U.S. debt now at $40 trillion, an all-time record and a bad record. No one should be happy about it in this country. Whatever your political persuasion, it's not a good thing. Trump did not acknowledge it. Instead, he wanted to talk about something else, his latest renovation project. This time, specifically, it was the driveway at the White House.
Ballroom!
The asphalt here, and this is granite. It's called the flawless granite.
It's flawless. It's flawless granite.
And so we put a brand new face on the front of the White House on the ground. The cars will pull up, and this is what you have, as opposed to the asphalt, which was literally, they had potholes in it. It's ridiculous the way this place was taken care of. Nobody, including other presidents, they didn't see it.
They didn't see it. All these other presidents, they didn't see it. I made this place what it is today. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. It was all run down and horrible.
Dude, we all fucking remember the White House. You realize it's one of the most photographed buildings in the history of the world. It's probably right up there with the Taj Mahal. Oh, don't say Taj Mahal around Donald Trump. He gets very sensitive about his failed casino called Taj Mahal. I was talking about the real Taj Mahal. Or let's say the Eiffel Tower. Don't say Eiffel Tower around Trump. He's very sensitive. It reminds him of erect penises, and he gets very uncomfortable. Damn it. Maybe what's another really well photographed building? Anyway, the White House. We've seen it a long time. We've watched the White House. Nobody noticed any potholes, and it was all dilapidated. It was falling apart. It looks like a fucking torn down piece of shit now. The reflection pool is destroyed. The east wing is destroyed. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? You've destroyed the White House, and you're going, "Oh, it was really a shithole before I got here." It's so great. It's like somebody, when someone's got a beat up face, and they're like, "You should have seen the other guy." Yeah, okay, pal, but your face looks like you fucking got beat to hell. Well, you should have seen the other guy. It was worse before this, actually. My face actually looked worse before I got my ass kicked. Really? Really?
But I see it because I was very good at real estate, like maybe the best in a lot of ways.
Maybe the best. I only went bankrupt 4 times. I was the best real estate man in the history of the world, but I only went bankrupt 4 times. Count them. 1, 2. I can't remember anything else after 2.
And I love construction. I love seeing things properly taken care of.
From there, he went on.
I love seeing things properly taken care of. Unless you're talking about my wife. My wife, I don't like it when she's taken care of. She can go to hell. I hate that woman. It's all about Natalie Harp now. Natalie Harp, she loves me so much. She leaves me little notes everywhere I go. She leaves me little notes, and I love her so much. It's so nice to wake up and have a little Post-it on my chest. I look at it, I'm like, oh, Natalie Harp loves me more than life itself. She loves me more than Mickey Mouse.
On about the new helipad that's under construction at the White House as well.
I felt it was too much slope. It's a slope for the rain, but I felt it was too much slope. And again, this is mostly going to be for...
Bro, he fucking bankrupted his businesses. The Taj Mahal went bankrupt. What are you talking about, you dumb piece of garbage? He went bankrupt over and over again. If you want to say, you didn't go bankrupt, it was only Chapter 11 where it's the restructuring of a corporation in order to free up capital. Yeah, and eliminate debt, you dumb asshole. That's called bankruptcies. You want to fucking look sideways and be like, it's not actually bankrupt. You want to split hairs? Really? The guy is a failed businessman saying that he's the best real estate businessman in the history of the world. You want to talk about the Chicago Trump Tower, where it's been called a public nuisance by the people, the government, and the EPA, and the government of Chicago itself? Do you want to talk about the Taj Mahal, which was the worst run casino in the world? It's so badly run that when he tried to come to Las Vegas, they wouldn't let him get a gambling license, and Trump Tower in Las Vegas has no gaming whatsoever because he's not allowed to get a gaming license, that they rejected his application. Really? He's the greatest real estate man of all time. Are you serious? Are you serious? What about all the real estate guys that, didn't go bankrupt? What? When a billionaire declares bankruptcy, it's nowhere near the same as regular bankruptcy. You don't understand. I do know what I'm talking about, dumbass. There's personal bankruptcy and there's business bankruptcy. We all know, asshole. You think you're some special genius that you know will be different between Chapter 7 and Chapter 11? Is that what you're saying? You think you're smarter than everybody else? Well, actually, when a business goes bankrupt, it's totally different because it's about eliminating debt and restructuring your corporation so that you can continue to operating. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? We all know that, asshole. We all know that. You file for bankruptcy when you fail, not when you're win. You don't file for bankruptcy when you're a winner, okay? When you're the best, you're not filing for bankruptcy. Companies that do well don't file for bankruptcy. When it's actually different. You sniveling pieces of shit. You fucking bootlickers. Rather, you'll cry for your favorite politician and love it when your neighbors get murdered in the street. You're pathetic. You would worship the rich and powerful when they would not they wouldn't deign to piss on you. They wouldn't piss down your throat if your heart was on fire. And you're sitting there crying and begging and pleading and praying to the billionaire class, the Epstein class, the Trumpstein class. You're pathetic. Your favorite politician went bankrupt 4 times and you think he was a great businessman. Yeah, it's really different if you go bankrupt as a corporation. It's totally... Successful corporations go bankrupt all the time. Yeah, sure.
Helicopters, a lot of years. With the bigger helicopters, the more powerful helicopters, literally this grass would be ripped out by its roots. And in one landing, the entire grass was gone. So now with a helipad, we won't have...
Look at a branded helipad. That's what we needed in America. That's your taxpayers hard at work. Your tax dollars hard at work. We need a branded helipad there. Bro, people can't afford shit in America. Can you please fucking get on it? Get on it. You said within 12 months that my gas prices, my gasoline in America, on average would be 50% lower. And on average, it's 50% higher. What the fuck? You did the opposite, asshole. You said that it would be 30% lower grocery bills by the end of your first 12 months. Here we are, I don't know, 19 months in or whatever it is, and you're like 20 months. We're 20 months into your presidency, and you're like, duh! Helipad! We need more helipads. We need branded helipads. That's what America needs. Branded helipads for everybody.
Any problem with the grass?
Trump, look, $40 trillion of debt, but look, we all like good grass, and Trump really seems to care about the grass because.
I don't know who you think is a liberal around here, Dono64, but you don't know shit, you donut. You donut don't know shit. There's no liberals here, you garbage human, you piece of trash, you fucking Long Island iced tea drinker, you piece of shit, simp. Bootlicking cuck, you piece of garbage, begging at the table like a dog, like a Pomeranian begging at the table, yap, 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 begging at the table for the crumbs of the billionaire class. I'll give you my 12-year-old daughter if you give me a crumb. I'd love you to fuck my 12-year-old daughter. Buyer, seller, I don't care, because I want America to do well for the oligarchs. You're the greatest. I love you. I love you, wonderful, wonderful billionaire class. You're my favorite politician. Please, my favorite politician. I love you so much. Can I have more, please? Please, sir, can I have more?
He's redoing it too.
This has all been redone. It's all been topsoiled. In other words, we put topsoil, brand new earth on top. Very, lot of good ingredients in that earth for grass. If you grass, you're very happy.
It's a lot of detail. Trump likes to talk about that detail.
We got so much grass. We got grass growing all over. I got grass growing out of my ears. I got grass growing out of my ass. I got grass even growing in the reflecting pool. We love grass around here, but not that type of grass. We don't like that type of grass. We prefer cocaine. Cocaine is a hell of a drug, everybody, especially when you do a bump off of the head of this erection of a small child. That is the greatest. You give a child Viagra, and then you line the cocaine right on that little dooflicker of his, and you go to town. It's a wonderful thing. You got grass everywhere. Grass everywhere. It's wonderful.
Trump doesn't even know how grass works. It gets ripped out of it. You get ripped out. The helicopter rips the grass out of the roots. Have you ever seen grass ripped out by the roots by a helicopter? I've never seen it. But hey, now we have a branded helipad in America. Thank you. Thank you. X-Ray Dragon, thank you so much for watching with your mother. That's awesome. It's a family show. It's a family show, the Skyjack Morgan Morning Sky Show. Tell her to log in on her account and give me another subscriber, please. I'd love to have her as a subscriber or a Sky City Rebel. Don't forget, Sky City Rebels. Thank you so much for Sky City Rebels for watching. Sky City Rebels get extra posts, extra polls, extra content, extra love in the chat. Thank you. People like Smokin' Blondie, who's also a moderator. Thank you. I thank you to all of the moderators too. People like Ben and Smokin' Blondie and all the other moderators. You're amazing. You're a wonderful person. Oh my God. 8.4 Black Wolf says Biden added 8.45 trillion to the National Department. I don't know which national department you're talking about, but that's rad. I don't know. $8.4 trillion to the National Department. I don't know what that means. The National War Department? I don't know which one you're talking about. Deficit spending to steal the public money as you pay 1%. Yeah, I mean, we could talk about the economy. It's coming up. We got another one right here. First of all, White House deconstruction. Do you think Donald Trump, that'll be, let me do a new poll. Do you think the construction projects will be done by the time he leaves office? We're gonna do, that's the next poll, everybody. If you're on Vertical, we're doing the polls over on the Vertical. Do you think? How about no? Will DJT's construction projects be done before 2028? I got to say 2028 because who knows if he's actually going to leave office. You can't say before he leaves office. I was going to say before he leaves office. Department dummy. Department dummy. What is department dummy? What is department dummy? Is like a department store for idiots? A department dummy. Black Wolf, I don't know what you're saying. Which department? Which department, man? I don't know which department you're talking about, silly bastard. You silly bastard, Black Wolf. What are you talking about, department?
Despite years of attacking Joe Biden's son Hunter over his business dealings, when it comes to the Trump family's highly lucrative crypto business, defense contracts, and mining interests, some of those very same Republican lawmakers have a lot less to say.
Jack with MS Now. I was curious if you have any concerns about the president's son's profiting off of defense contracts.
The president doesn't talk to you guys much about using complex maneuvers to pocket.
Lauren Boebert, she's famous for vaping on Broadway. It wasn't Broadway. It was like whatever, some shitty off-Broadway production of the Beetlejuice Broadway show in D.C. She's smoking, vaping, and giving a handy while the Beetlejuice show. Does the Beetlejuice show really arouse you? I don't think I would get... but I don't know. I've never seen the show, but I don't think of Beetlejuice as being like particularly sexy, or basically I don't think of any Tim Burton movie as like sexual content. Has he ever done like a sexy movie? He's kind of makes movies that are like creepy fairy tales for children, right? I mean, I don't think there's ever been anything that's kind of like, woo, nothing that Tim Burton has ever made have hardened my nipples. I don't know about you guys, but I guess Lauren Boebert, she gets moist with Tim Burton content, and she had to give a handy during the Beetlejuice show. It's really disgusting. Not, you know, I'm sex positive. If you want to give a handy during the Beetlejuice show, do it, man. You do it. You go for it. This is America.
Millions of dollars from our adversary. It is time to impeach this compromised commander-in-chief.
Do you have any concerns about it? You were concerned about Hunter Biden and Burisma.
This is a tale as old as time.
Black Wolf, if I'm mentally retarded, how come you can't tell me what department you're talking about? Department dummy. What, did you say anything else? Where did you read department? You said DEPT is literally the abbreviation of department, moron. What the fuck are you talking about? Department. DEPT is department. If you were like the Department of Water and Power, you'd say DEPT. Department. That's what department means, dumb shit. My God, you're not allowed to, if you don't speak English, you can't be president of the United States, buddy. Learn how to speak English, then come on back. What is this guy talking about? What department is this dude talking about? Dept. Debt is the word he's looking. This guy doesn't know how to spell debt, and he's telling me that I'm the idiot, I'm the dummy, I'm the retarded person, and this guy doesn't know what debt, he doesn't know how to spell debt? Do you have that type of dyslexia that turns letters upside down between B and P? Is that what just happened? Joe Biden, though. Look, man, I've hated Joe Biden since I was 9 years old. Get out of here with your fucking Joe Biden. I'm mentally retarded. I'm Black Wolf. I'm mentally retarded, and you literally can't spell the word debt. Debt. And you doubled down. You doubled down. You couldn't even. That's so pathetic. You're so pathetic, begging at the table like a chihuahua at the tables of the rich, begging for crumbs from their tables. And you're just like, you can't even spell the word debt. What a fool. Oh my God. Joe Biden couldn't even finish the sentence. Yeah, I hate Joe Biden. Welcome to the party, buddy. I hate Joe Biden. Great. Everybody hates Joe Biden. Nobody wanted Joe Biden. The only reason Joe Biden became president was because Donald Trump had such a disastrous first term. And people were like, fine, just let the old white man back in charge so we can get rid of this old white man. If you guys want to fucking suck off old white men, then let's put the old white man up there. You guys love fucking old white men. I don't know why you guys all worship old white people. I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't want old white people in charge, but you assholes keep electing old white people. You're the dumb fucks that keep on voting for old white people. You guys, here's what happened, right? The Democrats were like, oh, fuck, man, we got to get rid of this Donald Trump guy. He's fucking destroying everything. Like COVID. Look what he's done with COVID. We've shut down the whole he shut down the whole country. Donald Trump shut down the whole country. Our whole economy's crashing because he's fumbled everything. Every layup he just fumbles. Every layup he just bricks. It's ridiculous. And so they're like, okay, how do we get rid of this asshole? Well, we do have this really old white guy. And you know, for some reason in America, people love sucking on the flaccid penises of very old men. We don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason to it in America, but for some reason, everyone loves sucking off really, 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 really old people. So, Biden? And they said, all right, bring his bones out here. We'll try to make him president. And he won. It was the worst idea ever. But Donald Trump can only beat up on women. He can't actually beat an old white man. Donald Trump can't beat an old white man. He can only beat women. Because America, again, hates women. America hates women. So, like, of course Donald Trump can beat a woman, but he can't beat an old white man with all that flaccid penis energy. FPE, all that FPE, man. Man, that FPE, so strong with Biden and Trump. Flaccid penis energy, for sure.
Politician
only states that did shutdowns were blue states. You dumb cuck. The whole reason we had the problem with COVID was because Donald Trump fumbled the protection of our citizens. For some reason, I remember, maybe, does anybody else remember when there was this thing called Ebola going around? It's a little disease that, you know, causes you to die a horrific death, like bleeding from your eyeballs and shit, really horrible. And like a couple people got it in the United States, and people like, Barack Obama has failed the American people because he allowed that evil Ebola to come over to this country and infect Americans. Donald Trump said, wait till you get a load of me. Wait till you get a load of me. He's like a joke. He's like Jack Nicholson's Joker, 1989 Joker. Wait till they get a load of me. You thought Ebola? You thought Barack Obama fumbled the Ebola outbreak? I'll see your Ebola and I'll raise you a COVID.
takes action that makes money for his family, and then he tries to conceal it.
Stablecoin venture that got UAE funding. Is there any profiting off of the presidency there? What about the Kazakhstan mining venture? Is that something you're...
The only reason we had COVID was because, not the only reason, you dumb asshole. The only reason we had the economic meltdown that we did was because of Donald Trump. But, you know, yeah, it happened under his watch. You couldn't say like, for example, that the only reason that 9/11 happened was because of George W. Bush, or the only reason that Katrina happened was because George W. Bush. But both of those huge disasters happened under his watch, and he kind of fucked both up. He fucked up 9/11 by getting us into meaningless forever wars with countries that had nothing to do with it. And he fucked up Katrina by underfunding and appointing a moron in charge of FEMA. Heck of a job, Brownie. Heck of a job, Brownie. People are fucking eating each other stranded in New Orleans. Heck of a job, Brownie. People are raping each other and shitting on top of each other in the Astrodome in Houston as refugees from the Katrina. Heck of a job, Brownie. Like, you couldn't say that Katrina was alone George W. Bush's fault, but clearly it was his fumbling of the scenario and fucking it up so that we were ill-prepared and people died because of George W. Bush. I mean, Kanye West famously looked at the camera and said, George W. Bush did not care about black people. And he was right. He didn't care about black people. They didn't care about trying to save people's lives. 9/11 was a cash grab. He saw what was happening, and whether or not you believe in the standard narrative of who did it and how it happened, no matter what you believe there, when the towers came down, it became a cash grab for the military-industrial complex and Halliburton and all those assholes, people like Dick Cheney, to enrich themselves by starting forever wars overseas. And, well, it worked, right? So you can't really say that COVID was entirely Donald Trump's fault, but America's disastrous response to COVID is Donald Trump's fault. Donald Trump fucked us and he made it a cash grab. Again, the billionaires and the businesses got huge handouts, huge bailouts because of Donald Trump. And everybody else got shut down and people died. 1 million Americans died in 2020 when he was president. It was the bloodiest year in the history of America. The bloodiest year in the history of America happened under Donald Trump. There's no way around that. And you're like, it wasn't his fault. You cucks. You're a simp. If you're like, if anybody else, the bloodiest year in American history, more Americans died in 2020 than any year of the Vietnam. All years of the Vietnam combined. All years of any of our wars combined, nearly, I think. Probably. Damn near all of our wars. Something like 300,000 died in World War II. About 65,000 died in Vietnam. You know, only like 5,000 or 10,000 died in Korea. So like, yeah, I would say that 2020, 650,000 died in the Civil War. So like around 1 million people. I mean, more people died in 2020 than any year in American history, and all of our wars combined. More Americans died. And you're like, it wasn't his fault though. It wasn't his fault. He was just standing around doing nothing. Donald Trump was just standing around doing nothing. Why are you blaming the 1 million people who died in 2020 on him? The same reason we blame the people who died in Katrina on George W. Bush's watch. The same reason we blame the 3,000 people who died on 9/11 on George W. Bush. That's it. That's all.
Familiar with? Vaguely heard something about that, but I haven't. Does any of this, I guess, sound reminiscent of some of the Burisma concerns that you did have?
I love this stuff. Like, okay, just the truth is Cardinal Lavin or the Fauci committee, which is a moron. American government, they paid for gain of function. Gain of function is not new. Gain of function did not happen like out of nowhere. Gain of function's been going on for fucking 50 years. Gain of function research has been going on a long, long, long time. It's called the chicken production industry. It's called the cow production industry. Pharmaceutical companies do gain of function research right here at home on our domesticated animals. So, I mean, gain of function is something that's happened for a very long time. That hasn't changed. I mean, anthrax, the existence of anthrax as we know it today is gain of function research from a disease, a rare disease in cows, where cows would get like a burnt spleen, and so they developed gain of function research. They developed a bioweapon based on it. That's nothing new. It's just that when it happened, when it came out, we did nothing. Just like when Reagan saw people dying of AIDS, he called it GRID, gay-related immunodeficiency. And because of that and the delay of the response, a lot of people died. Tons of people died because of Ronald Reagan's handling of the outbreak. There was an epidemic. He said it was all about gays and minorities, no one else was getting it. Women got it. Straight women started getting it. And he said, I don't care. It's only promiscuous women who get it. That was the story. When I was in the 6th and 7th grade, the only loose women, gays, and drug users were getting AIDS. And so they didn't respond like they should have. And then they hired Fauci and he kind of fixed it for a while. But, you know, presidents get blamed because they're in charge. The buck stops there. Not with Donald Trump, though. It's not his fault. Not his fault that 1 million people died in 2020 while he was president.
The concern here is not Hunter Biden's own problems, but rather it is official corruption from the then Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, and now the President of the United States, Joe Biden.
Fauci did a good job with AIDS, I think, but Fauci didn't respond until later. Fauci wasn't even hired until the fucking genie was out of the bottle with AIDS. And it might have been gain of function research. Who knows?
Are you concerned at all by the Trump sons' investments that have benefited from defense contracts and the Kazakhstan mining ventures? Is that on your radar at all?
I don't have concerns on that front.
There are very legitimate questions about his ties to China, his ties to Burisma, his ties in Ukraine. We need to know the truth because it's affecting our policy right now.
Do you have any overall concerns about profiting off of the presidency for the Trump family?
Well, I love how you guys all of a sudden are like, oh, now we want to pay attention to something.
Oh, now we want to pay attention, but I know I want to pay attention when Joe Biden was doing it, but now when Donald Trump does it, I don't care. I don't care if Donald Trump does it.
Everybody should treat the same.
Overall, is this something that you have looked into at all?
I'm not having this interview here on the side of the road.
That's from MS Now's Jack Fitzpatrick. Joe, that captures this political era, does it not? Which is the false outrage about things that were happening in the Biden administration, going after Hunter Biden for something that on the spectrum of what's happened now in the first year and a half of the second Trump term in terms of self-dealing, self-enrichment.
I love how everybody, like, you want to talk about Fauci. Look, man, for some reason, Reagan and Donald Trump both had a bunch of people die. They both loved Fauci. Who are you blaming? You're going to blame Fauci? Fine. I don't give a fuck. It's like blaming Goebbels for what Hitler did. It was all Goebbels, everybody. It wasn't Hitler at all. Hitler was a good guy. He loved the Jews. It was all Goebbels and that mean man Heinrich Himmler. You guys are fucking crazy. You want to blame Fauci or Lindsey Graham or Tim Pool? I don't give a shit, man. The person in charge is Donald Trump. That's it. You imbeciles will hold water for your favorite politician because you're simps. It really is anti-American the way you guys are just like, I just love him so much. He's just my favorite. He's my favorite politician, and I don't care. It's not his fault. It's that Heinrich Himmler. It's that Stephen Miller that's the problem. It's not Donald Trump's fault. It's that mean Mr. Fauci that did it. Donald Trump didn't fumble. He's the greatest. It's not Donald Trump's fault that 1 million people died in 2020 and 2021. It's not his fault that 2020 was the bloodiest year of American history. It was actually Fauci's fault. And also that mean man Rex Tillerson, his fault. It's everybody's fault but Donald's. It's like you guys really will blame, like, Amon Goth was a really bad man. But Amon Goth would never have been in that situation in charge of the concentration camps if Hitler wasn't in power. It was Hitler's fault. Like, okay, you could, hang Amon Goth and Rudy Hess and all these guys and Heinrich Himmler, hang all those guys. That's fine. But they all existed. Like, Heinrich Himmler was a chicken farmer. And Hitler turned him into the head of the Gestapo and SS and all that. He was the head of all of the killings, right? So yeah, hang him as a mass murderer. But Hitler was the guy. In Donald Trump's the guy. He's the criminal. He's the vile man who's setting the policies and empowering these people and creating a permission culture where these things are able to happen. And you blame them all, sure. But if Fauci takes all the blame for everything, it's still Donald Trump's fault. That's how leadership works. Sorry, that's just how accountability works. For the Republicans, it used to always be about personal accountability. Do you remember when the Republicans used to be about personal accountability? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? When American Republicans used to be about personal accountability? And now they're like, oh no, it's not nothing's Donald Trump's fault. It's all everybody else's fault. It's everybody else's fault except for the guy in charge. And he pleads the fifth every time we ask him about any of the things that happened. Okay.
What the Sons have been able to do.
It's not Donald Trump's fault. Epstein Island, that's not Donald Trump's fault. It's all Jeffrey Epstein. No, it's not his fault.
But how they've been able to profit just completely pales in comparison to what Hunter Biden did.
It's child's play. It's child's play. Like, he sold his art for what? 50, 60? I don't know how much he sold his art for, but it wasn't $2 billion. It wasn't $3 billion. It wasn't possibly $4 billion. And I had people that were in the MAGA adjacent media, MAGA adjacent friends that melted down for years over whether Hunter Biden flew on Air Force Two and talked business on Air Force Two. These sort of things are quaint compared to, again, the defense contracts, the mining deals. And I heard Chip Roy talking about how, this is important because this could change policy right now. Really?
I love that the only Republican talking head is now fucking Joe Scarborough. He's the last Republican. He's like, where did my party go? You guys all went full Nazi. Like, we were all into it when it was all like Where did all the Republicans go? Joe Scarborough wants to know. Where did the Republicans go?
Talk about changing policy right now. You look at what these deals have been. I mean, they've twisted and contorted foreign policy. You know, there were some times that we didn't get everything right in the first term. I remember talking about Ivanka Trump and some trademarks or something. That ended up being something that she had already registered for. But with the sons and with Donald Trump and with the money that they're making right now, again, we're talking billions and billions of dollars straight into their pockets. It's pure corruption, and it is actually impacting foreign policy. It is actually impacting the decisions that Donald Trump is making inside of the White House. And these Republicans are saying absolutely nothing. Now, listen, a couple ways you can look at it. You can get angry and you say, oh my God, they're such hypocrites. How could they look at themselves in the mirror? They should be ashamed of themselves. I just rather
I don't know how they look at themselves in the mirror. I don't get that at all.
See what the voters think about it.
Donald Trump's wife's an immigrant. His mom was an immigrant, and he's like, I hate immigrants. Because he hates the black immigrants. He hates the brown immigrants. He likes the white immigrants.
Fall, because corruption does matter. At the end of the day, you know, in Hungary, it wasn't all of the authoritarian overreach that Orban displayed through the years. It was corruption that helped bring him down. And I think it may be corruption in the fact that these Republicans are sitting by and allowing this to be the most corrupt administration in the history of American police.
Republicans love corruption.
In terms of dollars, please let me know. Somebody said there's like a Teapot Dome scandal happening every day inside this White House, and everybody's going up to it.
Teapot
So if Republicans
Dome.
aren't going to say anything about
Teapot Dome, don't get me moist. My God. Joe Scarborough, the last Republican, is saying something about the Teapot Dome scandal. And if you know what the Teapot Dome scandal is, kudos to you. Great on ya. How many people know what the Teapot Dome scandal was? It was the biggest scandal in American history until Watergate. It was the scandal, the biggest one, where president was, well, not just the president, but all sorts of corruption in the United States government was giving land to taking land from anyone they could and giving it to oil companies. They were just giving land to oil companies and taking bribes, and then they would drill the oil. People like Sinclair Oil, like they're still these companies are still around. They didn't even no consequences really, nothing of note. Nobody really did. Anybody even go to jail over Teapot Dome? Hold on a second, let me ask. Was anybody put in jail over the Teapot Dome scandal? Yeah, Albert B. Fall, the Secretary of Interior. All right, so the Warren G. Harding was the president at the time, and they had that makes sense. The Secretary of the Interior went to jail because he was in charge of the federal land that was going to these oil companies, just taking bribes and giving fucking our land over to oil companies. Disgusting. Anyway, there's a Teapot Dome scandal happening every day right now in America. Awesome.
About it? Okay. I think their voters may. And that will be bad news for them. With us talking about this, opinion writer for the New York Times, Maury Gay, and staff writer at The Atlantic, Mark Leibovich. Mark, I start with you. Just talk about the numbness, how everybody is so numb to the fact that Donald Trump is bringing in people to the White House, talking up their products. Then you find out he's invested in their companies.
What are you going to cry about after Donald Trump's term? Well, what I was crying about before Donald Trump's term. I mean, I was complaining about Biden last time. Anybody in power deserves criticism. You cuck, you simp, you bootlicker, you fucking hall monitor, you turncoat, you class traitor. God damn, you fucking Pomeranian at the table of the billionaires. God damn it. I'll complain about anybody in power. I'll criticize everybody in power. That's the whole thing. You're supposed to question authority. That's the most American thing you can do. It's called critical thinking. It's the first step of critical thinking, actually, is questioning authority. It's the first step. That's it. Question authority. Throw tomatoes at the bosses. Slow down the bosses. Anyone in power, question why they have that power. Force them to justify the power they have over you every single moment of every single day. Force them to justify the power they yield. And if they can't force them to justify the power that they wield. And if they can't, take it away from them. That's it. That was what America was based on. That's why we have a place called America, because people during the Enlightenment actually did that. They were like, oh, critical thinking, scientific method. That's pretty rad, isn't it? That's pretty rad. Let's start questioning everything. And now everyone in America is like, I follow orders. The bosses are right about everything. I wouldn't have a job if the billionaires didn't give me one. Fucking morons. just totally just worshiping politicians. It's disgusting. But if you ask me, what will I complain about after Donald Trump is no longer president? It will be about whoever's in power. Always corruption. It will be about, my channel will be about media literacy and critical thinking, and also liberation. Just like it was before Donald Trump became president. I bitched about Biden. I complained about everything that he did. Well, not everything, but a lot of things that he did. I complained about Fauci when Fauci was just an animal torturer. You guys were like, I love Donald Trump and Fauci. I think he's great. You guys are Johnny-come-latelys. All you loser Republican MAGA Nazis, all you guys are Johnny-come-latelys, JCLs, man. You're all JCLs. And I have been bitching about Biden since I was 9 years old. I was talking about him on my channel. Fauci I've hated before you knew who Fauci was, because he was an animal torturer, because I have literally traveled the country and spoken at universities about the evils of the NIH. And guess who was in charge of a tremendous amount of money under the NIH? Something like $11 billion a year or something crazy. I forget the numbers now. It's been a long time. But the billions of dollars that we give to torturing animals in the in the spirit of curiosity and bioweapons, yeah, I protested that. I protested the NIH. I traveled for a year protesting the NIH. The fuck have you done, you garbage humans, talking about Fauci now, but then now that it's popular to bitch about Fauci, now you're like, I hate him because he made Donald Trump look bad.
He's pushing and promoting these.
In Fairfax County, Virginia, not far from where we're broadcasting right now, and about 6 miles or so from Langley, where the CIA headquarters are, a young mother, Carmen Lizette Pooch, was found stabbed to death near her car along a popular hiking trail. The suspect, 19-year-old Alexis Antonio Cedillos Campos, he's an illegal alien from El Salvador who came into the United States, you got it, under Joe Biden. According to police, the murder was premeditated, revealing the two individuals worked together, had been involved in an intimate relationship.
He ended up siphoning gasoline out of his motorcycle. He filled the water bottle with gasoline after he dumped the water. We know that when our victim and our killer eventually found themselves at the...
Yeah, I mean, David, Danny, look, everybody likes to use the Old Testament, especially. They never like to use Jesus, really. They never want to talk about Jesus to excuse rape and pedophiles. They always dig into the grab bag like Felix the cat reaching into his bag of tricks, and they'll pull out some quote from the Old Testament and being like, it looks like gays all need to die. Yep, okay, let's put that in my pocket. Oh, let's reach in here. Oh, it looks like a black people should be enslaved. Of course, that's what the Bible says. Oop, okay, put that in my pocket. Let's reach into the bag one more time. It looks like abortion is evil. It's just always, they reach into their bag of tricks, which is the Old Testament, which should be, that's the only book that I defend burning, by the way. The Old Testament should go away. You know, like, just get rid of it. For once and for all, get rid of the Old Testament. I'm sick of all of these morons like trying to legitimize their horrific deeds. Oh, let me look into the bag of tricks. Oh, yes, we can murder all the animals and use them any way we want. We can rape animals and we can use them as bioweapons and test anything we want on them because we have dominion. I don't know what the word dominion means, but that means I can do whatever I want to animals. Okay, put that in my pocket. It's always the same. And Jesus is always about like, oh, you know, the last will be first, the first will be last, anti-hierarchy, make sure that the world's great for everybody, treat thy neighbor as thyself, treat their stranger as thy neighbor, all of these things, you know, treat the immigrant as thy neighbor. And yet they hate that shit. They hate Jesus. Nothing is more anti-Christian than the Republican Party of 2026. The GOP is about as Christian as the Ba'ath Party. Donald Trump is about as Christian as Saddam Hussein. For God's sake, and they have the same interior designer. So Donald Trump and Saddam Hussein, it's beautiful. Put gold on everything. Yeah, gold on everything. What about the AK-47? Yeah, put gold on that. Yeah. Put gold on everything. What about the toilet? Golden toilet? Yeah, golden toilet. Toothbrushes? Yeah, gold.
The park, difficult run trail park. We know that our killer stabbed our victim repeatedly and eventually doused her in gasoline and tried to set her on fire.
This is fabulous that we let these people into the country. We warned about this. We told you people would die.
Yeah. It's the immigrant. I love this is what Fox News is now, like digging into the police blotter. They're like, this is what Fox News has full-time police blotter. This is what they probably have AI doing it, right? Just scanning all day. There's just a server somewhere at Fox News just scanning local police blotters, like looking for horrific crimes committed by immigrants. Oh yeah. That's all. We let these people into our country, and look what they do. Was Ted Kaczynski? What about Charles Manson? Was he an immigrant? I don't think so. Like all these, Donald Trump is like one of the most murderous motherfuckers to ever live. And they were like, oh yeah, immigrants are the bad guys. Donald Trump has single-handedly murdered millions of children. Over the next 15 years, it's estimated that 10 million children will die because Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And it's like, no big deal, right? No big deal. We let these people into our country, people like Elon Musk and Donald Trump, and we give them power, and we're surprised what happens.
Innocent people would be dead, raped, brutalized, trafficked. And the Biden administration did not care. And the Democrats on Capitol Hill, you should be ashamed of yourself because you let this happen.
There you go. Lindsey Clancy. God, I've been trying not to talk about that. But Lindsey Clancy was not an immigrant. There you go. Perfect.
Well, by the way, HHS Secretary Javier Becerra, now running for governor of California, he stood by and let this happen. Blind eye. All the criminality. Total outrage. And, by the way, while we're adding to that list, Abigail...
G-Peasy, I'm sorry that you're like you have some kind of educational problem. But look, man, we watch it all here. Fox News, Newsmax, MS Now, CNN, all of it. Don't get too triggered, baby doll. Don't get too triggered, baby doll. G-Peasy. I know you're triggered. Take it easy. This is the news reaction show. We watch mainstream media for funsies. It's fun. You are about ready for a straitjacket, dude. Yeah, man, that's what they said to Fuller when he invented the steamboat. Thank you so much. That's what they said to Einstein when he said the theory of relativity. That's what they said to, Karl Marx.
Spanberger, the new governor.
That's definitely what they said to MLK Jr. You're ready for a straitjacket, and then they just murdered him instead.
Moderate Democrat governor of Virginia. Remember her role in all of this. Of the thousands of illegal aliens in the Commonwealth of Virginia, she's happy to give sanctuary to them.
Listen, Sweaty Pie. Listen, Sweaty. Listen, Sweaty. I know that's just, I know you just don't know how to spell. Fucking illiterate right-wing maggers. All you illiterate maggers. You ignorant maggers. Listen, Sweaty.
Including to this individual. She's now murdered. Here to react to Jennifer Boss, who's an angel mom. Her 37-year-old daughter, Megan Boss, was killed by an illegal alien. Her body was found in a container.
An illegal alien! Oh no! We need to scour. We need to trawl the police blotters of America, all 50 states. Do you know how easy it is to look at all 50 states and to try to find some crime that someone you don't like committed? That's what Fox News has reduced itself to, just trying to find crimes committed by people they don't like. I mean, if you wanted to, you could Google right now, hey, have there been any and forget about Clancy. Have there been any crimes committed by white people lately? Any crimes against children that white people have committed? You'll get a fucking laundry list. What about have there been any sex crimes by immigrant? Laundry list. Has there been any sex crimes by black people? Laundry list. You could do that for anybody. Anybody. It's called cherry picking, son. Listen, Sweaty Pie. Listen, Sweaty Pie. It's not hard to find these stories. It's not hard to find that story about anybody, William Talenti. Anybody. You could pick, if you literally went on there and said, I want to find some sex crimes committed by dwarfs, by people with dwarfism, you would, or little people, I don't know what the PC term is. I know you're not supposed to say the M word. Don't say the M word. But if you were online saying, I want to find sex crimes committed by little people, you could have a whole show. You could have a YouTube channel based on it. Just criminality for people under 5 foot tall. You would find a huge list of criminals under 5 foot tall. I mean, El Chapo. How tall was El Chapo? How tall was El Chapo, or is El Chapo? Oh, dude, he's 5'6"? Damn, he's way taller than I thought. He's as tall as Napoleon was. 5'6". That's not even short. All you short guys. All you short guys. I don't trust you short guys. No, just joking. I don't trust anybody. I could see the tops of their heads. And I'm 6'5". I don't trust anybody. I don't trust nobody, all you short fucks walking around. I'm 6'5", and all you fucking short people walking around like, looking up at me. Do you know how silly you all look? You all look like... That's what, that's really why tall people are so gentle. It's because you all look like begging dogs to us. You're all like, that's what it sounds like to me. I walk through the streets of America and everyone's just like, I can't even look down at you. People say that I'm aloof. Because when I walk into a room, I can't see any. I'm not gonna go looking down to look at your eye to get eye contact with all you short people. I'm sorry. I walk into a bar and I'm like, I don't see anybody. I just see the tops of heads. It's like when I lived in Japan, it was more so, but it's everywhere. It's everywhere. It's very rare. And every once in a while, I see a guy over like 6 foot, and I'll be like, so. Every once in a while, I see a woman over 6 foot, and I'm like, hello. Don't pat my head. I won't pat your head. I won't pat your head. I won't. I'll be like, aw. That honestly, when I see all you short people looking up at me like, I'm all like, aw, Pookie. I don't want to murder any of you. You're so cute. That's why I love humans. You guys all seem so cute. You're so cute looking up at me like this. I love all you shorties. You're so cute. I don't trust you, though. I don't trust anyone under 5. I don't trust anybody under 6'5". I'm sorry. Donald Trump's only 6. He says he's 6'3", but he's like 6.
Today, exercises between the American and South Korean militaries began as scheduled.
Oh, no!
Even after President Trump demanded they be scaled back. This weekend and again today, the president said what he called war games were
I told you not to do it. I said if you do it one more time, it'll be your ass. I'm going to obliterate you. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Everybody, please like and subscribe. If you hate both parties and you think there's nothing but a unitard party in the United States of America, please like and subscribe if you love long Arnold Palmer schlong.
Unnecessarily provocative and a challenge to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, despite recent praise of South Korea by the administration.
Your nephew's 6'8". I bet he's a gentle giant, isn't he? It's why people over like tall people, they're always like, oh gosh, oh golly, all you shorties, all you shorties, you're so cute. It's just like we look at you like you look at Pomeranians. You're like, yeah, they yap a lot, they're loud, they're annoying, but they're so cute. And that's how I look at human beings. That's how I look at all the human beings. LOL, the military just ignored the commander-in-chief. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why should they? Because they want to, the people at the top brass, like the military, they actually still believe in a thing called the Constitution because they took an oath to it. They studied at West Point. They believe in all that Star-Spangled Banner shit. They still believe in that. They're diehard, man. The military, they still love the Constitution. The top guys do. The guys at the bottom, they're a bunch of drones. But the guys at the top, they still believe in all that shit. That's why he's trying to fire those guys.
Administration. Nick Schifrin joins me now here for more. So Nick, tell us more about these exercises and what exactly the president is calling for here.
So these are annual U.S.-South Korean military exercises called Ulchi Freedom Shield, involving tens of thousands of troops. They started today what the U.S. military calls a, quote, defensive opportunity to strengthen U.S. and South Korean readiness. They've been held for 50 years, designed to deter North Korea. But that is not how President Trump sees it. He said they send a, quote, inappropriate and hostile message to an unthreatening and respectful North Korea. President Trump raised the possibility of restarting diplomacy with Kim Jong-un, posting this 2019 photo from the demilitarized zone, writing, Kim Jong-un and I get along great.
We love each other. They're so great.
This meme of Kim calling President Trump, hey, Donald, we cool, right? The president's criticism instead today fell on his ally, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung, calling him out over Iran. Take a listen to...
I called him and said, would you like to give us a little hand? We don't need help with Iran, but if you'd like, give us a hand with
Iran? He said, no thanks. And I said, wait a minute, we have 39,000 soldiers over there guarding you from Kim Jong-un, your next door neighbor.
We have 39,000 soldiers over there.
Let me tell you something about Korea, okay? We have 39,000 soldiers over there in Korea. Why? We want to make sure that there's never, ever, ever a successful communist nation. We want to make sure that people like Kim Jong-un stay in power and look like horrible, evil dictators, because we like horrible, evil dictators in America. We especially like it if we can make that happen in a communist country. Now, North Korea wanted to be communist, and the South Koreans did too, but America got involved. We fought a war. My uncle was there, and they decided to split the country in half and had the DMZ, the demilitarized zone, where now there's a standoff. The war never actually stopped. We're still in action. Like, the people of South Korea still live under the shadow, the specter of war, and we have 39,000 goddamn troops there, and we're like, we're just gonna back off. And I think we should. Let's just back off. Who cares? Who cares if millions of people die because America does what they do? We just got rid of PEPFAR. PEPFAR is the elimination of PEPFAR is likely going to kill tens of millions of little babies. So I mean, who cares? Who cares if we just pull out of South Korea?
You wait a minute. We got 39,000. They should do everything we say. Everything we say we should do.
So okay, then let North Korea take them. Unification. Let North Korea take them. See what happens. Watch the bloodbath, and then let's just let the cards fall where they may. I like this idea, Donald. Hey, let's have America back out of everything and just allow the cards to fall where they may. Let's let the people actually have an uprising. Let's stop fucking around in South America. Let's stop fucking around in Asia. Let's stop fucking around, period. Let the cards fall with. Stop the coup d'etats. Stop the endless wars. I thought that's what Donald Trump was supposed to be about.
And you're not going to help us on a very easy military operation in Iran? That's strange. No, we'd rather not get involved. I say, well, why are we involved in helping you?
So it's a page out of the president's first-term playbook, criticizing joint exercises with South Korea, complaining about South Korean burden sharing, while publicly messaging Kim Jong-un, let's talk.
So we've heard that from President Trump in the U.S. What have we heard from South Korean officials in response?
South Korea's response was muted.
AIDS money is in order to protect American citizens, by the way. If you keep AIDS from breaking out in poor countries, you will help people from getting AIDS here. That's just how that works, William Talente. With pathogens and stuff like that, the smart move, just purely self-preservation, you would try to get people to not have outbreaks in places like, I don't know, the Congo or South Africa or Haiti. You try to keep outbreaks from happening everywhere because we have all the money that we stole from them. We have all of their money. So we might as well keep them from dying of curable diseases so that we don't die of curable diseases here. Just purely, yeah. Protecting people here means keeping AIDS people out of our country and forcing borders. That's fucking stupid, William Talente. I'll tell you why it's stupid. Border Patrol is our borders are the most inefficient of any country. Any country in the world has inefficient borders. It is the most inefficient role of government, is enforcing border security and all of these things. So you cannot protect people by having strong borders or whatever. Human beings, the reason why we have human beings all over the world, it's kind of like rats. You can't keep rats from getting anywhere, unless maybe some island cultures have been able to keep rats out, but you can't keep rats from going. Even those island cultures, they get rats, they get mice, and they have to go and hunt them down and kill them so that they can keep their local bird populations or whatever flourishing. But you can't keep dogs, rats, human beings, birds, coconut trees. You can't keep them from traveling, because that's what human beings do. Human beings move. They leave their country and they go places. You want to truncate people's freedom, their human rights. You're like, fuck human rights. Okay, fuck human rights, I guess. William Talente, you're anti-human rights. Awesome, bro. Great position. Love you.
The president's office in Seoul said that they were reviewing Trump's comments and that they would discuss helping the U.S. over Iran. They also said that they wanted a better U.S.-North Korea relationship. And that is the irony, that the very South Korean administration that the president of the United States, Donald Trump, is criticizing South Korea over is the diplomacy that South Korea's president, is the diplomacy that South Korea's administration wants the U.S. to have. Take a listen to Frank Dernuzzi, the president of the Mansfield Foundation, which advocates for diplomacy.
I think what is striking about what happened over the last 24 hours is that it appears to have been a move that took our...
I guess you missed the whole point, William Talente. You missed the whole point. You just right over your head, huh, buddy? Right over your head? Okay, I'm going to say it one more time for you, honey pie. Listen, sweaty pie. Let's say it one more time for you. Keeping any disease, doesn't matter if it's COVID, AIDS, Ebola, fucking the flu, any of those, any diseases, any communicable disease, if you want to keep them from coming to America, you have, and you still want America to be rich while they're poor, because they do not have the infrastructure, because we stole all of their fucking money. Because of our foreign policy, they've got nothing and we have everything. And in impoverished countries or war-torn countries or famine-ridden countries, they get diseases. And if you don't want those diseases killing people that you love, then learn the lesson that what happens to the poorest on planet Earth directly affects the richest people on planet Earth, especially when it comes to disease. You cannot keep it out. You cannot keep it out. The only way to keep it out is by keeping it under wraps and mitigated in foreign countries. That's the only way. The elimination of PEPFAR will kill millions of children, sure, but millions more will just live with AIDS. And those millions of people with AIDS will move around the world. And those people moving around the world will come to America, and we will have another AIDS epidemic. Now you'll say, well, we have therapeutics and they don't. Great. So we'll have people living on the pharmaceutical teat. The pharmaceutical companies will love it because they can sell AIDS treatment rather than AIDS prevention. Great. You've succumbed to propaganda, and you think that by giving up your freedoms and abandoning human rights, the human right of autonomy and free movement, which is outlined in the UN Agreement of Human Rights, you think that by limiting human rights that every country has agreed to, not ones that I'm fucking making up, human rights that the UN and every country has signed, you want to abandon those because you think it's okay to let black people die of AIDS or something. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, med slavery. Yeah, we'll all be on that sweaty honey tits pie. Too many Americans have never left their state, much less the United States, so they don't understand that traveling is normal. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. You think maybe that's what it is. Too many Americans don't have passports. Let me see. How many Americans have actually left the country? What percentage of the United States population, American citizens, have actually left the country? 1%. Oh, I'm sorry. That's just people who have left. Okay. 40% of Americans have never traveled internationally, even to Mexico or Canada. 40% of Americans have never traveled internationally. 40%. There you go. Half of Americans have passports. People get passports for a lot of different reasons, honey pie. But yeah, no, 1%, only 1% of Americans leave and live in another country. Sorry. That's something different. Yeah, something different. Stop laughing at you. I'm not laughing at you. 40% is pretty high. Well, we have Canada and Mexico. We have Canada and Mexico. People leave and go and coming back and all that stuff. And people also visit like their relatives in India or wherever the fuck. So yeah, it makes sense. Laughing at people having no money. Not laughing at people having no money. I'm actually, if anything, if I laugh about people having no money, it's gallows humor. I ain't got no money either, honey pie. I ain't got no money either. I think that the reason why we don't have any money is because billionaires have it. That's who has your money. If someone steals your bike and they're riding around on your bike and you're blaming Mexicans, you're an idiot. Right now, there's all these people with $1 billion. Let's blame the Mexicans. Those fucking Mexicans. It's their fault. Mexicans who have no money, the people with no money and no power, no political sway, the people who have nothing, it's their fault? Yeah, it's their fault. But the billionaires have all your money. Look, they have all your money. All of it. Yeah, but it's the Mexicans' fault. That's their fault. It's their fault. Okay. Cool.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Rob Bonta, California Attorney General. Thank you for being here in Oakland. And I want to, in particular, thank my incredible colleague.
So George W. Bush, actually, this is so funny. George W. Bush had never left the country before he became president of the United States. He had never been outside the United States. And he had the money. So it's not just a poor person thing, everybody. George W. Bush had never been to Canada. Man, just drunk on a bet, you make it to Canada. You make it to Canada drunk and betting with your friends. Like, everyone's been to fucking Canada. Mexico, everyone's been to Mexico, but not everybody. Not George W. Bush. Not George W. Bush, no.
Attorney General from Colorado, Phil Weiser, and the Attorney General from New Jersey, Jennifer Davenport, for being here, for making the trip to be part of this first day of trial. I am grateful that we have an incredible collaborative team. We have another member of the team who wasn't able to make it today, but I want to thank him for his participation and his support. That's Kentucky Attorney General Coleman. But his team is here, and I was recently in our war room with our team members, and we had team members.
They're suing Meta for, child pornography.
From each of our states here, from Colorado, New Jersey, California, Kentucky, as well as some other states. And I want to just
choosing profit over the safety of children.
Lift up the collaborative effort, which this case is. We are the 4 states that are part of this, what we call a bellwether case. But there are 29 states bipartisan.
I saw this. Clinton did it when he dodged the draft. Clinton did dodge the draft, but he was a Rhodes Scholar. So, like, back then, people who were going to college, they were able to get out of the draft, especially if you were overseas on a program like the Rhodes Scholarship. So, and I think Mitt Romney, he was on a religious. He spent Vietnam in Paris because he was on a religious mission. He's a Mormon. He was on the religious mission. They all dodged the draft, but like some were more legitimate than others. Some actually just were rich and got doctors to pretend like they were sick, like Donald Trump pretended like he had bone spurs. George W. Bush joined the Air National Guard because his daddy was, I think, senator at the time. I forget what George H.W. Bush was very powerful during the Vietnam War, and he was able to get George W. Bush a job where he wouldn't get in any kind of trouble. So he was at the Air National Guard. And the National Guard back then was not what it is today. It was very much more chill. And so that's what he did, and he got out of it. They all got out of it. But I would say, like, Rhodes Scholarship, because you did well in school as a poor man, because Clinton was a poor man, the only way he wasn't going to go to the military, the only way he wasn't going to go to Vietnam is if he did well in school, and he did. He did very well in law school and became a Rhodes Scholar. I think that is a little bit, I don't know, more legit. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Still a draft dodger, I guess, but context is important, is all I'm saying. I still hate Clinton, Bill Clinton, rapist, all that bad stuff. But when it comes to the Vietnam War stuff, it's kind of like a poor man getting really good at school so he doesn't have to go to Vietnam is somehow more easily palatable than a rich man getting a doctor to pretend like he has bone spurs. How do you feel about that? Let me know. Let me know in the chat how you guys feel about that.
Across the country who are standing up for families, for parents, of course, for children, for consumers, and I'm proud to be part of that collaboration. So we are teaming up here in our efforts to hold Meta accountable. Today, of course, was the first day of trial. It'll be a 5 to 7 week trial, but today both the attorneys general and Meta laid out our cases, and I'm probably biased, but I found our case to be incredibly compelling, devastating in the presentation. The jury seemed very focused on hanging on every word that was being said, and we, of course, heard from the first witness, a whistleblower engineer from Meta.
God, it's so nice to hear an attorney general talk with a fucking sentence. Like this guy, he's the Colorado attorney general, and it's just so nice to hear someone like speak in full sentences. Isn't it nice to just hear someone speak properly in office? Someone who's just, I know that there's a lot of truth to the white man educated accent being kind of oppressive but you know what, man, it is nice to hear people who can actually string a fucking sentence together and speak with a degree of I don't know, of a je ne sais quoi, something that having their thoughts organized in their brains and then encoded so that you can understand them. It's just so nice instead of the weave, whatever Donald Trump does, you know.
Who was in charge of child safety while there, who talked about the fact that Meta knew the harms that it was visiting upon children, but failed to act. They also talked about their motto, their culture, if you will, which was to move fast and break things. Unfortunately, the thing that was broken here was the mental health of our children. And so I'm grateful to have the opportunity to be here. We laid out our case today, which is essentially this, that Meta has designed and deployed a dangerous product with dangerous features that they knew would create excessive use and compulsive use by children, and it would create mental health harms, including things like anxiety and depression, like body image issues, like addictive tendencies, like learning loss. They knew all that. They knew their product was dangerous, and they lied to the public. They lied to Congress. They told the public. They told the world that their product was safe, that it wasn't dangerous. And so their deception, their lies are at the core of our case, and we are excited about how our first day of trial went. We're excited about the opportunity to hold Meta accountable for its conduct, and we look forward to taking this case all the way to the end here and getting the appropriate remedies, both injunctive relief, changes in behavior, changes in business practices going forward, as well as the appropriate financial penalties. A couple things I want to highlight between our investigation and our
that's so nice to see.
Disclosures from
it's nice to see. It's nice to see people actually give a shit about the children. You know, I love this guy, Jack. You're pathetic. Thank you for keeping up the just kind of putting a little cherry on top. How I say it's nice to hear someone literate speak about these things. It's nice. I guess literacy is what I'm really appreciating here. And then someone like this, Robbie Etherford. I don't know what your fucking name is. It doesn't matter because you're a moron. You're illiterate. I love these illiterates. Jack, you're pathetic. My pathetic. You're pathetic. My pathetic. What is my pathetic? You're pathetic. It's so funny to me. These people who can't even fucking spell, insulting the others, insulting anybody else's intelligence while you can't spell the difference between your and your. It's just my favorite thing on the internet. I love this shit, man, especially from maggers. You dumb magtards. Sweaty tits pie. How embarrassing, how pathetic these maggers all are. You're pathetic. No, you can't even spell it. You can't even spell it, bro. You can't even literacy. Maggers don't read. No, maggers can't read. Magger don't read. Charlie don't surf, and Magger don't read. Magger don't read. Charlie don't surf. Magger don't read. How embarrassing. How embarrassing. All you maggers can't even spell anything. It's so sad.
Tyson Foods facility in Utah County that just opened 5 years ago is now set to close. That move will result in the loss of hundreds of jobs. News specialist Daniel Woodruff is in Eagle Mountain, where people are reacting to this news. Daniel?
Tyson Foods says it's closing this plant as the company restructures to deal with a historic cattle shortage, and 723 people are losing their jobs.
723 people losing their jobs over the Tyson factory, guys, everybody. Tyson Foods, the one of the worst, oppressive, most evil industry giants in the world. Oh my God. One of the most horrible places in the world, Tyson. They're closing their Eagle Mountain facility, and 723 people are losing their jobs. You know, you're all going to be eating 3D printed flesh here pretty soon, right? They're going to grind up as many animals as they can, and then they're going to shoot it out. They're going to give you little meat packs, and you're going to eat it from fucking 3D printing. That's the future. You realize that's what they're getting you used to, right? Tyson Foods is one of the biggest investors in this. They're investing in 3D printing animal matter and also plant-based meats. Interesting. I wonder if they know something we don't. How do they know something what do they know that we don't know? And they're laying off all these people and closing chicken factories?
Really heartbroken right now.
Mary Del Lewis lives in Eagle Mountain and has worked at the Tyson Foods plant since it opened in 2021.
We thought we were going to get a bonus because it's our 5-year anniversary.
Instead, she was told the plant will close in October and she'll be out of a job.
It's hard to take in. It's like, is it true? We're really concerned about this.
Abby Ivory is Eagle Mountain's economic development director. She says the city is working with the state and Tyson Foods Foods itself to support workers.
We're concerned about making sure that they have all the resources available.
You won't want to compost with 3D printed meat. It's going to be the entrails of horses and the lips of camels. That's what you'll be eating, you filthy Americans. And you won't even know. It'll show you like it'll all be Slim Jim ingredients, you know? It's like, okay, mechanically separated chicken, mechanically separated pork, mechanically separated rat meat, 10% soy. That's the future. And you guys don't read the ingredients. Who are you fucking joking? You guys can't read, you stupid maggers. I really believe that if you are still eating animals, you're probably illiterate anyway if you're still eating animals. Like, how dumb can you be to still be eating dead animals? Like, bro, like, wake up, look around. If you're still eating what the corporations are feeding you, if you're eating food in America and you're bitching about the vaccine, bruh, if you're going to Taco Bell and bitching about the vaccine because you don't know what's in it, or if you think that if you've ever eaten a Slim Jim and you're bitching about the vaccine because you don't know what's in it, well, I'm sorry. The call is coming from within the house, dumb shit. You're putting these things into your face. You're eating dead animals and these weird concocted things like Slim Jims. It's like, if you've ever eaten a hot dog at a fucking 7-Eleven, and you're like, let me know what's in it. You don't know what's in that shit. You're eating food in America, buddy. You think you know what's in a fucking Big Mac? You think you know what's in a fucking Big Mac? You think you know what's in you don't know what's in a Big Mac. And you're bitching about the vaccine. I don't know what mRNA means, but it sounds scary. Give me a Big Mac. Yeah. Give me one of those Chick-fil-A, whatever the fuck, the Chick-fil-A sandwich. I want that. You know, it's like 40% soy-based product. Yeah. You know, it's got like the highest content of MSG of any fucking food in America. Yeah. Whatever. What's MSG? No idea. And you're going to be eating it still because you don't read the fucking labels. You don't read the labels. They're going to 3D print this shit and you'll be waiting in line for it at the Chick-fil-A and gobbling it up like a little fucking dumpster panda that you are, covering your face in sauce and grease, all this sauce and grease all over your face like the pig at the fucking trough, and you're just going to gobble it up. You're not even going to know what you're eating. Soylent Green.
To make a transition easier, not just with getting a job, but any hardships the family might have in the meantime.
It just shows you the lack of herd we have in the United States.
Utah Commissioner of Food and Agriculture Kelly Pearson says the U.S. cattle supply has dwindled due to drought, fires, a closed border, and the high cost of feed. Tough conditions.
Hey, by the way, I'm not bitching about. I cook with MSG. I use MSG when I cook at home. So I'm not anti-MSG, everybody. But monosodium glutamate, would you like to know more about monosodium glutamate? It comes from the precision fermentation of corn. Did you know that? That it comes from corn? It's just salt taken out of corn, basically. It's a long process and everything, but it's part of the corn industry. They make ethanol and plastic and all sorts of shit out of corn. And one of the products that comes out of corn is MSG. Like high fructose corn syrup, and they make all this stuff, right? High fructose corn syrup and alcohol and plastic stuff and all this stuff out of corn. One of those products is MSG. And now you know it's just corn, guys. But MSG, like anything, it has a lower sodium ratio than regular old table salt. But if you eat it too much, you might grow an extra testicle. No, perfectly safe, everybody. It's perfectly safe. My point is, if you don't know what mRNA stands for and you don't know what MSG stands for, shut the fuck up. Or just stop eating what the corporations tell you to in America. Cook at home or something. It's fun to cook at home. Learn how to cook. Learn how to cook, you stupid Americans.
He says, for a business like Tyson.
They invested $300 million on that plant, bringing it to Utah. And and it was a great investment, a great asset to the community.
Pearson says this highlights the importance of local food production, which he says the state is working to develop. But right now, he feels for those losing their jobs.
I needed money, to pay for everything.
Marydale says she'll now start looking for something new.
If anyone is hiring out there, let me know.
In addition to the Eagle Mountain...
Anybody hiring? I was really good Nazi at the concentration camp for chickens. I'll be a good Nazi for anybody. I'm really good at taking notes and other stuff that Nazis need. I'm a great bureaucrat.
Plan. Tyson Foods says it's also closing one in Illinois and looking to sell another in Washington State. Daniel Woodruff, KSL 5 News.
Authors are...
My one testicle is bigger than the other two. That's so funny. Listen, Tyson has always been evil. They're doing evil shit. They're like way up there with like Cargill and Monsanto and Halliburton, BlackRock. Like those are those evil corporations. Tyson's with those guys at the very, very top of the evil corp. Okay. And you guys just gobble up what they feed you. That's what's so fucking crazy. It's like these companies are so fucking horrific shit, man. Like extreme evil. And you're like, what should I eat? And they tell you what to eat and you eat it. You put it in your mouth. Yeah, Monsanto. They're all related. Monsanto and Cargill and fucking Tyson. And JBS, all of these corporations are in cahoots. And you know who else is in cahoots with them? Pfizer and all of these pharmaceutical industry, Johnson & Johnson, all of them, they're all together. If you think that vaccines are evil and you're eating vaccinated animals, it's just like, you fucking idiots. I hate soy and vaccines. Now give me that dead animal over there that you pumped full of antibiotics, soy, and vaccines. I want to eat that and cover it in soy seasoning and corn seasoning and soy breaded. I want you to use soy and also other GMO for the breading as well. And then I want you to put something that looks like bread. I want you to put it between two slices of whatever looks like bread. It's not real bread, but put it and then I'll eat it because you told me to.
Historians, and bibliophiles have launched an online war against tech giants and artificial intelligence developers after an increasing mountain of evidence shows they're buying rare and antique books en masse and feeding them to large language models, only to slice off their spines and destroy the original print copies in the process. Documents made public in a lawsuit from authors against Anthropic earlier this year revealed the company had bought millions of physical books, hired contractors to slice their bindings off, fed the pages into high-speed scanners, and then shredded the originals in a venture called Project Panama.
What? These sons of bitches are burning books? They're shredding. It's different when it's called shredding. So these giant corporations, these AI corporations are taking all of our antique books, ripping their spines off, and then scanning them and shredding them? What was that movie where the guy went into the future and he had to spin these rings and he was like at the library and he was like, oh, you burned all the books, you got rid of all the books, you idiots. And it was these rings that you could spin on the table in order to get information. What was that movie called? Does anybody remember what that movie? The Time Machine, yes. He has to spin the talking rings. He has the time machine, the H.G. Wells. He has to spin the rings in order to hear shit because they got rid of all the books. And so he's just got to spin these rings to figure out what the fuck happened. It's so depressing. We're there. The time machine is here. What year was that supposed to be? What year was it supposed to be in the time machine where he spun the talking rings? Was it 2026? What year was it? It was supposed to be 802,000 AD. We're early, H.G. Wells. It's funny how these amazing science fiction brains, they knew all these things would happen in the future, but they got the timing off a little bit. Like 1984, he got the timing off a little bit. And then H.G. Wells is like, 800 years in the future, they'll get rid of all the books and we'll only listen to AI talking rings. No, we're already doing that in 2026. Shit. Fuck. You're getting rid of all the books, bro. You're shredding them.
Reporting then revealed a historic spike in the sale of physical books printed before 2022, and booksellers began voicing their suspicions that AI companies were secretly their big buyers. Book lovers and AI skeptics called it evil incarnate and rallied against the practice. But more reporting from 404 Media and others has revealed it's not just physical bestsellers hitting the chopping block, but rare, antique, and out-of-print books that may not be otherwise preserved.
We can't even get these books anymore. They're gone. They're the last. This is the last flower. What was that line about the flower? What's that line about the last flower being crushed or eaten or something in Little Prince? It's my favorite. The Little Prince, he says, a sheep eating. Suppose I happen to know a unique flower, one that exists nowhere in the world except on my planet, one that a little sheep can wipe out in a single bite one morning, just like that, without even realizing what he's doing. That isn't important. No, it's not important. Who cares about that little unique flower that is only available in one place on planet Earth? This is the last one, the last unicorn, the last book. It's the last one of its kind. Yes, they printed hundreds back when it was printed, but this is it. Shred in wood chipper. Wood chipper. You can find almost any book for free online. Brian Santos, that's not fucking true. You can't even find most movies, bro. Bro, I wanted to watch a movie called, I forget what movie it was now. But it was a famous movie. Oh, it was called Bring Me the Head of Alfredo. What's that movie called? What's that movie called that Sam Peckinpah directed called Bring Me the Head of Alfredo something? Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. I just wanted to watch Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. It was a famous movie from the 70s, and it's not streaming anywhere. It's not streaming anywhere. I'm willing to pay for it. I can watch it for free with ads. Nope. Not available. Not available. So this idea that you could find almost any book for free online, not those old ones that they don't want you reading. They can't get you. They can't get you. Nah, you sleep, Sky. I can put you on. What? You sleep, Sky? You sleep, Sky? I don't know what you mean. AI companies to change in the AIs. There is, yeah, there's still, lots of books are available. Yeah, man. Garcia. That's it. You know what I'm talking about. Have you seen it? Have you seen the Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia? I've never seen it. I've seen a lot of Sam Peckinpah, and I've never seen it. You'll send it to me on Discord? How will you do that? Can you email it to me? Skyjack@morningsky.live. Skyjack@morningsky.live is my email. Can you email it to me? I don't even know I don't know where, I can do it on Discord, but I don't even know what my Discord is anymore. I got off there. Rote Ohren fetzen durch Asche is what I can't find. I can't even find, there's a German movie called Tattoo that I've been looking for. You can't find it. There is a Japanese movie called Guitar Wolf Zero, I think. It's really hard to find. You can't even find things on, thank you, Morning Sky, Skyjack@morningsky.live. Is that my fucking email? I think that's my email. Yeah, anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. My name is Skyjack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate, and the AI industries are burning books. Well, shredding them. They're shredding them.
404, a media company founded by tech journalists, on Monday published the results of an investigation in which an unnamed rare bookseller who received an order for almost 1,000 physical copies allowed reporters to place an Apple AirTag inside.
Yeah, I've seen Das Experiment. Of course I have. Yeah, I've seen Das Experiment. I saw this movie when I was in Germany called Tattoo. And I fucking loved it. I saw it in the theater, and I've never been able to find it on streaming. I can't find it on DVD. I don't even have a DVD player though anymore. But I've really wanted to see it again because I remember it being such a cool, like, German noir detective movie. It's just called Tattoo. And I loved it. Can't find it. Can't find it anywhere. It might not be that good, but but in my memory, seeing it in the cinema, I saw it in a German cinema, and I fucking loved it. No, not 1981. What's the movie Tattoo from the early 2000s? It was from Germany. 2002. Psychological thriller. Robert Schwenke directed it. The film follows an eclectic pair of police detectives, a cynical veteran named Minx and a reckless rookie named Mark, played by August Diehl. August Diehl is a famous German. If you see August Diehl, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. Who hunt a gruesome serial killer. The killer preys on people with elaborate body art, flaying and skinning his victims to harvest their valuable Japanese tattoos. Fucking insane movie. 2002 it came out. But like every time I try to find it, I can't find it. But it's a German cop thriller. And I thought it was great. Maybe it might not be good, but I remember in my mind it being first time I saw it, it was really good. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's not. I mean, some things you see it's 24 years ago, but 24 years ago, I thought that movie was really good and I've never been able to find it. So the fact that there are books that we can't find, like this is what really fucking pisses me off. Companies like Netflix, the promise was any movie, anywhere, anytime. That's what Netflix was supposed to be. Any movie, anywhere, anytime. And instead, like, do you remember the DVD? Who misses the DVD Netflix days? Do you remember that? That was so good. You could get any like foreign cinema. You could get all these, whatever you wanted. You could get delivered to your house in a little red envelope with a DVD inside. If you were like, oh, I just heard about Jean-Luc Godard or Robert Bresson, you could be like, I want to watch all their films, and you could do that. You were like, oh, I want to know about Wong Kar-wai. I don't know. You figure out these directors, and you're like, I want to watch all their movies, and you could just get them delivered to your house. It was so cool. Now Netflix is a bunch of really shitty TV shows or something. I don't know. What is the fucking point of Netflix? There's no movies. It's all just garbage, slop. What a depressing thing. Like they fucked it all up, man. They fucked it all up. And HBO used to have all the Criterion collection. They don't anymore. You can't find anything on there. All the old cool movies are gone. Sometimes YouTube has ones that like are easily licensed and you can watch them on YouTube, or you could buy them sometimes for like just a couple bucks on YouTube or Prime. But I can't find Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. Can't find that. Can't do that. Your comments are being deleted. Sorry, buddy. August Diehl was just in, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. No one's deleting your comments though. There's no mods, right?
One of the books. The company tracked the package from California to Milwaukee, Colorado Springs, and ultimately an Amazon-owned warehouse coded by the company as
YouTube cuts a lot from the movies. It does. Even those old like 60s and 70s movies, you think? I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but you know, who knows? Like between the theatrical release and what you end up getting on Roku or whatever, or fucking, because sometimes I'm looking for old movies and I find them on Roku. And I recently watched a movie. I forget what movie I watched on Roku, but I watched. I think I watched One False Move on Roku. At least free YouTubes. Oh. Yeah, I mean, who knows? You don't even know, because a lot of these old movies we didn't watch as kids, and you're like, oh, Sam Peckinpah, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia. I have no way of knowing if this is the original intent of the auteur, right? I have no idea. I have no idea what Sam Peckinpah released in 1970, whatever, because I wasn't there. So they could totally... Do you remember when there was a movie called Fun and Fancy Free by Disney, and it had all of the birds were smoking cigarettes, and they digitally removed all of that. They just removed all of those things. And I think that's fucking horrific. That's like, I remember I was working at Disney when that happened. I think that's really scary shit when they're digitally removing cigarettes from cartoon characters. Why? Just leave them in. We know it was from back then. Or racial characters from Bugs Bunny. Just leave them in. What has everything got to be? I don't like it. Netflix is shifticating like many other companies. I think that a lot of this is... What's free on YouTube? No, it's not. Not the full. It is not. Send me a link if that's true. I have not seen that. I looked last night for that movie on YouTube and could not find it. I don't know. Maybe it's in my country or something. Maybe I need to use my VPN or something. Back when they were in their user acquisition phase, now they're in their screw the consumer phase. Yup, you got it. Nailed it. Nailed it. Anime has censoring, depends on the country. Anime? I don't know anything about anime. Sorry. I haven't watched anime since fucking Macross. I haven't watched anime since Ninja Scroll. I haven't watched anime since Akira. I've been trying to rebuild my physical media collection. This all digital format is too easy to send. Dude, it's getting scary. It's going to get to, this is Fahrenheit 451, man. We're going to have to make our own little collections. It really is sad. It's sad. I really think that we need to make a zine. I want to make a Skyjack Morgan zine, Sky City Rebel zine or something like that. I'm really warming up to that idea. I really, really want to do it. I think that'd be super cool. And I want to buy a printer and like do it all in-house and everything. Cowboy Bebop. I remember that. Okay, I haven't watched anime since Cowboy Bebop. Since Lupin the Third. I haven't watched anime since Robotech. Since Voltron. I haven't watched anime since Voltron.
GT3. The entrance to the building boasts a logo of a Tyrannosaurus Rex preparing to eat an open book, 404 Media said, and employees report nice jobs where, quote, all we do is scan books all day. The investigation has revealed how major tech giants are operating dedicated industrial-scale book scanning facilities in order to train large language AI models. For more on the story, check out the article at the link in the description.
Because they have all the money, they can buy all the books and then shred them. It's only 800,000 years early. No, it's 797,000 years early, H.G. Wells. H.G. Wells, you thought it would take us almost 1 million years to burn all the books? No, we're already on it, buddy. The Disney point is Walt with a cigarette. Yes. Walt with a cigarette. I do a lot of thrift store shopping for used DVDs to find some. I think that's great. I want to do, we do a lot of thrift store shopping for used DVDs. You find some gold in charity shops. I think maybe I should do that. Get a DVD player. I don't know. Like, I'm so addicted to fuck this timeline. I'm bummed that I left all my CDs in Texas when I left there. Man, I've lost all my baseball cards, all my vinyl, all I kept, all my, Star Wars toys. The only thing I kept was my comic books. So I guess me and the comic books are staying together. The YouTube Ghost in the Shell remake is terrible. I don't remember that. I don't know what I remember Ghost in the Shell, the anime. I remember it came out with Scarlett Johansson or someone, right? I can't remember. I never watched it because I stopped watching that. I stopped watching all that shit, man. I'm just not that into the old the anime stuff. I want to say thank you to everyone who's here and who has been here. We're going to end with a poem today to try to celebrate a little bit of humanity before we go, because poetry still matters, right? We still matter. I watched a movie called Mary Oliver, which was she was a famous poet, and they made a movie about her, and it was actually pretty good. It was packed. The whole cinema was filled. They sold out. They had turned people away. I have not been to a movie theater where they turned people away at the box office for years. And people showed up for this Mary Oliver documentary. I couldn't believe it. I was like, we're all elbow to elbow. It was all hot. And it's full. And it's like, it's kind of hot in this movie theater. That's rare. It's been years since I've seen that happen. So there's a guy that buys every DVD from Movie Speed he can find for some. Oh, I've seen that. I've seen that guy. Yeah. I've seen that. An hour long. No, I've been on live for 3.5 hours, homie. Just got a Blu-ray burner and some 100 gigabyte Blu-ray CDs. That's pretty sick. I don't know. No Worries Mate says it's there. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. They don't even have to destroy them. It's just cheaper to pulp them than reassemble them. Ooh, I guess because they rip the spine off, it's just cheaper to do it that way. They just throw it in the garbage. But then maybe they need a better fucking situation. Maybe they should build a better robot that turns the goddamn pages. The reason why they're doing it this way is because the old way was they had a camera that would scan it, but a human had to turn the pages, and they don't want to do that shit. They want to rip the spine off and then feed a machine all the papers. That's how what they want to scan all these books. Makes perfect sense. Yeah. Poetry and humanity still matters? I like to think so. I like to think so. I don't know, but you could tell me what you think. I don't know. Most people don't agree these days. But the poem of the day today is by Dorsey Kraft. The Summer After You Die, I Steal a Magnolia by Dorsey Kraft. It's honest spite scraped across damped coquina that makes me a spade, my lust heavy and fragrant, is iron shears. My only tree blooms in the painting you parlored for me. I am awash in unopened buds. Those long undulant clits, pollen-faced, shameless, murmuring while I curve on the ramp, leaned into my steering wheel, gin tinged in my cloche, a store-bought sampler of dried Dutch blues, saw palms vault their middle fingers while I melt. I forget to unlock my emergency brake. I am fat, a moon of cream, a bulbous globe unfolding, a sadness so profound I can't help but stand back and gawp, hands and mouth filmed with fibrous green. Trucks knock me around like they own God. I inhale Spanish moss, blow out columns of sugar ants and black wasps. Everywhere you touched me, I am tea-stained, pearl and gold blazed with the oil of your fingers. Everywhere you touched me is the whole of my body, the breeze holier than dogwood. Chlorophyll and cigarettes and honeysuckle flutes plucked off graves. I climb. Each branch I clutch is a cardinal with wings carved from marble, real and suffering as a womb. Fucking rad. I thought that was pretty rad. I thought that was pretty cool. I gotta look up coquina, but the word kind of, I think, is a little sexual. It's probably a flower. It's a type of sedimentary rock made of glued together seashell pieces or tiny colorful clam that lives in beach sand. The word comes from, coquina. I guess coquina in St. Augustine, Florida. They have all this coquina stone. Yeah, now I know where I know that word from. Yeah, coquina. Hey, coquina. So that makes sense because I think this has got to be, I kind of got a Florida vibe because of the fibrous green trucks knock me around. I inhale Spanish moss and now sugar ants and black wasps, chlorophyll and cigarettes. The middle fingers of the saw palms vault their middle fingers while I melt. So I think palms, because palms, right? But palms also is trees. I thought that was really good. Of dried Dutch blues. Isn't Dutch blues, let's look up that word real fast. What is a fucking Dutch blues? What is Dutch? A vibrant regional music scene that started in the Netherlands during the 1960s. Chicago Dutch blues. Dutch blues. Huh. Dried Dutch blues. I don't know what that means. I think that must be something else though. What are Dutch blues? A store-bought sampler of dried Dutch blues. I think it's like a fucking cigarillo. I think it's a fucking like a Swisher sweet. What is it though? Cloche and surreal. A glass dome is a cloche. It blends the eternal stone-bought sampler with strange elements of dried elements, Dutch blues. Yeah, I don't know. What does she mean? What are dried Dutch blues in this context? Are they like AI Dutch blues? Preserved flowers, famous flower fields of the Netherlands. Dried Dutch Blues Bouquet, a popular arrangement featuring the muted palette of deep indigo, navy, and faded cobalt. Wow. So it's like store-bought dried flowers, I guess. Anyway, I like this poem a lot. I thought it was really good. Pretty powerful stuff. A young woman, Dorsey Kraft. She kind of looks like the lady who plays Supergirl. She looks like the lady who plays Supergirl, that lady from the Games of the Thrones. She's A Brief History of Accidental Inventions, author, and Plunder Bohan, which received the 2019 May Sarton Poetry Prize. She serves as an assistant poetry editor of the AGNI. She only has one poem in here. Do you guys know who I'm talking about? She sounds insane. All poets are insane. But first and foremost, they're lovers of language, Frank Fruman. Someone said poppies. Sayard Yon was here a second ago. He was here a second ago. Dutch blues are poppies. Oh, I see. Links in the community section, Sky. Okay, thank you. I'll check it out today. Thank you so much. Amazon is digitizing books for a long time. Yeah, I know that, but now they're ripping off the spines and shredding antique books, which is a little different, right? Blue Opium. I love it. Even you have your own brand of crazy, Frank, just as we all do. Exactly. Isn't that what love is trying to find someone who's just as crazy as you are in all the right ways? It's like puzzle pieces trying to find each other so that you can connect, so that your crazy goes into their crazy and you kind of have like some kind of mesh. Isn't that what love is? I think that's what love is. I don't know. Who's the woman who played the new Supergirl? What was her name? Millie Alcock. I think that Dorsey, what's her name? Dorsey Kraft. I think she looks like Millie Alcott. She's got a Millie Alcott kind of vibe. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. My name is Sky Jack Morgan, independent news and culture commentator, free speech and critical thinking advocate. This is the Morning Sky Show, and you are beautiful. Please consider becoming a Sky City Rebel, and Sky City Rebels get extra content, extra streams, extra polls, and extra love in the chat. Thank you. Yeah. Millie Alcock is her name. Yeah. Dorsey Kraft was her name. The poet's name. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I think you're wonderful, and I think you're awesome, and I hope that you have a beautiful, beautiful day. And you're doing great. You're doing great. Millie is GOT famous. She's Millie Alcock. I know her from the Incest and Dragons show. Yeah, the GOT Incest and Dragons show. IAD show. It's a great show if you like incest and dragons. Sweet Havoc, did you like the poem? Sweet Havoc, our resident poetic theorist and critic. Did you like the poem, Sweet Havoc, by Dorsey Kraft? I hope you liked it. Sweet Havoc, I literally was hoping you were still here because I know you love poetry, and I'm sure that you enjoyed Dorsey Kraft. I thank you. Thank you so much. It's not the ending, it's the adventure. Indeed. Sky must be an acrobat. No, but I'm a mental gymnast. Thank you all for joining. Don't let the bastards grind you down. Illegitimately non-carborundum. And Godspeed, rebels. You're doing great. Please build community. Reach out to a neighbor. They're probably looking for someone to join a club. Build community. Thank you. And I'll see you soon. Maybe do a guitar. I kind of feel like doing a guitar stream later today. Would you guys enjoy that? Let me know.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so friggin' much.